Yeah. Hello. Hi there. Hi. Letting everyone in. How you doing? You guys, I can't. Oh, something is just not working with my mouse. What is wrong? Let everyone in. Hmm. Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to disconnect. I'm trying out another monitor, but it's doing some weird stuff, so I'm gonna disconnect that monitor. There we go. I keep trying to get my second computer set up, but it's not working. I'm always dealing with the one. All right. Let me get, I need to charge my headset, which is out of charge. So for a little bit, Mummy, you're gonna have to hear everyone until my headset gets charged up again. Um,
Are you feeling better today, Deanna?
I am definitely, I managed to, well, sleep a little bit more logical hour, but not even too illogical.
Good.
Um, no, everyone go to the chat and give me a little hello. Again, I wanted to say good afternoon, but granted, it's actually good morning for you guys. Yeah, I just finished having lunch, right? So it's like good morning, good afternoon. It's like but anyway, um, yeah, I'm still jet lagged because I can't fall asleep early enough, and so then I'm sleeping late here. But then my husband calls me way into the morning saying good morning, and it's early for him, and I'm like, what do you mean good morning? So anyway, but that just takes a few days, and then I'll be fine. Nothing problematic. All is good. All right. So, how's it going with organization, file organization? Are people excited about it, or it's like, oh, slogging through this one? Is it like feeling good for your computer, or is it, no, no? What's up? Tell me you're good, you're bad, you're pretty, you're ugly, whatever you have to say about file organization, go for it. Is it helping? Is it not helping? What do you
Do,
think?
do, do you want me to say something?
Yeah, yeah. Tell me what your
I don't
experience.
need the little yellow hand or anything.
No, no, right now it's like,
Okay. I'm I'm struggling a little bit, but this type of thing is just not for me as far as learning the computer. But I am picking up on stuff that I either knew or you've explained, but it's at a slower pace. But I'm okay just picking up when I can and
okay, that's good.
practicing basically.
What did you just say? You're what?
Basically practicing and then kind of what you've said and
Yeah.
doing it
Well,
after hours.
in particular in your case, you don't have many files in your computer, so a lot of this
Right.
might be superfluous. Like you said, it applies to you or not, depending on whether you really do have files to organize. That said, and this is what I want everyone to know, even if you don't have many files to organize today, the process of organization that we're following, the whole putting something inside of something and then putting something inside of something again, to organize files. That, as I said last week, is how all the apps that we're going to start learning as of next week when we start Mac level 2, it's the same idea, right? And your contacts, you can have groups, and your mailboxes, you can have, folders for mails from different people, and instead of like having to just find them all over the place. So whatever you're learning now kind of helps for whatever you're doing in the world of computers. Even if at this point you don't have too many, other people might go and go, I don't have many text messages, that's fine. But others have a lot of text messages. So each one takes what they can out of it. But yeah, the whole structure, it's a hierarchical structure, from the king down to the peon. That's kind of the whole idea of the storage things. You just have like the main folder and then the subfolders and the folders of like
Right.
well level folders and then internal folders and all that kind of thing, like an org chart or something. And that's just what we need to figure out how to, like we all know an org chart, but how do you drag those things into there? How do you put the folder inside of the other folder? So it's like the how to that we're practicing. And then hopefully at the same time, making more sense of your stuff on your computer. Now, by now, hopefully, a lot of you guys have a lot of your files, if not finished, but you have them on the path to wellness, let's say, you know, we can't like cure everything in one day or in even 1 week, but it's easy to be organized from now on and then slowly tackle what was disorganized from before, you know what I mean? Oops, I just noticed that my pillow fell in. So I'm not, you know, if you had 30 files, hopefully by now you've organized them. But if you have 330 or 3030, then yeah, you might need to just take a little bit of time and go backwards and start with what you've got now. And if you create a new file, know how to put it in the right place, which is what we did at the end of last class. We opened Pages, but it could be any other app that you open. And then we navigated and stashed it in the right place. So from now on, as you organize yourself, the next time when you open your Finder, you go, oh, this obviously belongs there. Boom. And you begin to continue organizing what's left. Now, I have a suggestion today, which is for those of you who aren't done yet organizing, which is the following. Of all the folders that you made, and now you're going to tell me in a bit who made folders, who didn't, who needs help with that. But of all the folders that you made, one folder that I like to have is just a miscellaneous, don't know what to do with right now, but we'll deal with later kind of folder. And so then all that loose stuff can go in there. Yeah, junk drawer, so you say, you know, you're like, okay, I'll just throw this in there. And then slowly, as you continue organizing, you'll bring them out. So for example, if I go to my documents folder right now, I have all of these folders, right? But if this one doesn't fit in any of them, and this one doesn't fit in any of them, and I'm not yet ready to make all my organization, then where do I put it? Do I let them hang out like that? Or worst, if I'm clicking and seeing the name, do I leave them files, files, folder, files, files, folder, files, folder? Well, maybe what I need to do is just make one folder, which is just for organization's sake. And so what I can do is I can go in here and I say file, new folder, and call this one, right? I'm going to rename it to miscellaneous to organize or something like that, to organize or something like that, right? So then when I get to this one and I go, well, this one, so then it's the best to see it in kind. So I have my folders up. So I get to this file and I go, oh, Mac. Okay, yeah, clearly that's a Mac file. I'll put it in class files. Where's my class files? Oh, I have them up there. Okay. So clearly this is a Mac class. I'll put it in class files. That's good. This is an iLife class. Okay, I'll put it in class file. But then, ooh, I don't know where to put this one right now. Well, I'll just throw it into miscellaneous, right? Because I maybe didn't make a folder for it yet, or sometimes some things you just won't make a folder to. I always give the example of my, you know, I don't have sewing patterns in my computer. I'm not someone who sews, but I have the pattern for that face mask. So I'll never have a folder called sewing patterns, right? I guess I could throw it in health. Maybe I could just say, okay, that one goes under health because that's what it was for. But otherwise, that one can go in, you know, that one can just be thrown into miscellaneous. And I actually have two folders. I don't have miscellaneous to organize in my computer. I actually have a miscellaneous one, which is basically things that they don't really fit into anything else. So I'll open it up and I'll find like loose ends, like that one. Maybe someone sent me something that I want to keep, but it isn't really stuff that fits anywhere. So that's a miscellaneous. And then I do have another one. I make another one, new folder, and it's called to organize or to be organized, or, you know, whatever, to be organized. So then it's kind of like throwing everything under the rug could guesser come in, but you know, it's that kind of thing. I can grab everything here that's left and put it in the to be organized, right? Here's, I have, let me just get rid of to organize, that one. And so now things that really don't fit in another folder, but I'm organizing them. I can put them in the miscellaneous. It's just that it doesn't really fit in a folder. But then when I have time to organize, instead of having all the stuff way out there, I can just kind of open it up and say that I decide to use this columns view to organize stuff. Then I can say, okay, so let me see, to be organized. What's this? Farm to table. Well, that one is one of those miscellaneous ones. Okay, I'll put it in miscellaneous. How about this one? Funky guitar. Oh, that's something I use for my classes. Okay, I'll drop it in there. How about this one? And so I'm opening the to be organized one. And see how easy it is? Because all my folders are there. Instead of having to scroll up and down, all that loose stuff, everything that was not in a folder, I put in the to be organized. Then it's so easy in this columns view because I have all my folders there. It's so easy to go holiday motel. Oh, I use that one in Photoshop. So class files. Okay. How about this one? Oh, that's also one of my Photoshop files. So that goes into class files. How about this one? Clean duplicate photos. Oh, that's instructions for my iLife class that goes in there, right? Oops. I dropped that in our place. So see how easy it is to organize things once you have them in a folder called to be organized. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because then it's a folder. Instead of having everything out here at this level, where you have to go from here to there to here, you know what I'm trying to say? It's just much easier if they're already in a folder, because from folder to folder, you don't have to go, okay, this one goes, let me see, that one goes, and I have to go all the way up to find that thing that it goes up there. So it's a solution to make things more organized. So if I go to my documents folder, once again, and I view them as a list and by kind, okay, so now I want everyone to do this. Go to your documents folder. And some of you, if you're completely done organizing, then maybe this is not necessary. But as a future thing, you can do that. But if you still have things that are loose like me, then instead of looking at them by name, viewing them by go to the documents folder and view as lists. So those were the two first things. Then organize by kind. And when you do that, all your folders that you've been working on will pop up to the top. You might have done 5, you might have done 25, I don't know. I recommend if you have 25, probably there's stuff that can be moved into other stuff, right? And now, if you have anything left loose, hanging out, I recommend, watch what I'm going to show you. I'm not going to make a folder first. Rather, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the top one. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom one, hold down my shift key and select. So all the loose files right now have been selected. Yeah. Now I can make a new folder. I can either right click or I can go up to file, but I'm going to right click to show you here. Right click, make a new folder with this selection, which is 33 items. Make a new folder that includes all of this loose stuff. Instead of just make a new folder and put them in, I'm just making a new folder that will include that. So look, new folder with 33 items. Boom. And now I'll give it a name, and I'm going to call this one to be organized. And there you go. Oh, I already had it to be organized. Right.
Another to be organized.
Other to be organized, exactly. So, let me get, is this one empty? Yeah, so let me just get rid of it. Okay, so then new folder with items, which is the default name it ended up with. Now I'm going to change that one because this is the one that has those 33 items. I'm going to rename it again to my items to be organized. There you go. Why do I always give the R an uppercase? There we go, items to be organized. Now from here, which is a great way to work with my stuff from now on, when I organized, I recommended viewing things in columns. So now, when I'm viewing things in columns, it's so easy to click on items to be organized and keep going. Let me see, certificate, camera, raw class. Oh, that's a real file. Let me put that one in there. How about how to enter your two-factor authentication? That's a class file. Okay. And so on and so forth. And how about this one? Oh, that one is, oh, look at that. I don't have a folder for photos of my art, for example. Okay, so I go in here, I right click and I make new folder for my art photos or whatever, photos of my art. So now I go back there and I go, okay, that photo goes there. And how about this one? Oh, that photo goes there too. Now, we're going to talk a bit about photos. Why am I putting them here and not on the Photos app? So that's something I want to mention, but does that make sense? How easy it is to organize? And then I have to go have lunch. Okay. So before I had 33 items, now I have 29 items. That's fine. When I come back and I have a little bit free time, I'll look at this one. I'll go, what does that go? Okay, good. Now I'm at 20. So at some point, if I have 5,000 files, I'll get down to 500 and then down to 50 and then I'll be done. And then I can get rid of the to be organized. Does that make sense, you guys? If all of the
Mhm.
way I explained makes sense, and you got it, give me a yes. If you want a bit more hands-on explanation or help me get this set up, then give me a no or raise your hand. I need to make this bigger so I can see all of you guys. Here we go. Hi, Justine. You showed up when I was talking, so nice to see you. Actually, I didn't really
Hi, good morning.
today, now that I think about it. Now that I said hi, Justine, I'm noticing that I just started talking. Oh, because someone asked me about time and sleep and we started talking. So hi, everyone who's here. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so Georgia, what's up? And everyone, please don't forget to go to the chat. Let me give another little hi in the chat so you see it. Go to the chat and give me a hi in there, okay? All right, yeah, Georgia. You're muted. You're muted, so I can't hear you.
I have everything in folders that I did, things that I made long ago. The thing is, my view is really different from yours. It didn't have the,
Okay, go ahead and share your view. Let's see what your view is all
the
about.
second and third column, it didn't have the picture of the, okay.
Go ahead and
So-
share it and we'll see, because I'm sure that if yours is different, when people share their screens, they're always set up differently than mine. So
Okay.
if it's different enough that just the things don't make sense, definitely share your screen. All right, so you have it in, I see, in columns view. Okay, so go select one of these folders that you know has stuff inside.
Okay, here's reasonably new.
Okay. That, for now,
That's
that's same as
things
mine.
from last
Okay.
year, basically.
Well, you have to click on a file. So
Oh,
something needs to be previewed, right? So there.
okay.
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 Now, if you
And-
click on health, that's a folder. It'll show you what's inside of the folder.
Right.
And you have to go over there to the right to click on that one to see something in the preview.
Alright.
So yeah, thanks for asking that. The file itself is what gets you the preview. So there you go. Preview of
Okay.
that file. Okay, so no, great question. Thank you. So guys, it's the final step, the file that gives you the preview. Now, there could be a folder within a folder, so you take 4 columns to see the preview, or you could have a column that all it has is stuff. And so if you just click on that one, you already see a preview. But maybe she had another folder in here. And then when she clicks on that, she has another column. You can have 6 columns before you get to the file that gives you the preview. But the file is always going to be the one that at the end has the file name and the dot PDF in this case, or dot docx. So that's the extension. That's the actual file. That is what you see a preview of. Okay? Is that good for everyone? That makes sense? Is everyone seeing this? If you're, okay, I'm looking at, hold on, because I lost the view of everyone when you shared. Let me move this over so I can see everyone again. And there, now I'm seeing everyone. Okay. So, so I know, Sue, you're raising your hand. I'm about to clear that, so I will call you on you next, but now I want a feedback. Is everyone's Finder window operating the same way? The way I just showed that on George's screen? If so, give me a yes, like you're seeing at the end the preview, okay? Now, I think it's Philip who, in list view, he also has a preview, and if you want, I can show you how to turn on the preview in list view. It seems a little bit useful to me, but I'm happy to show you how to turn that on. But in columns view, it's a default setting that when you finally get to click on a file, then you see the preview. Now, question I have is everyone seeing the extension names? I think the other day I saw someone who didn't have extension names. I think it was Philip, and he didn't have extension names because his were web pages or something like that. But do you see extension names? Otherwise, that's something that we need to turn on. Because if you just see the word plan compare versus plan compare.pdf, it just helps you know what kind of file that is, right? So you could see it with or without the extensions, and that's something you change in the Finder. So in the settings, I mean. So go ahead and everyone give me a yes if you're seeing, if this is working the same way and you're seeing the extensions and anything is good. And if anything is at all different and you want me to check it out, then give me a no or raise your hand. And then the person who did have their hand raised was Sue. So yeah, Sue, what's your question? Thank you for sharing. Georgia, I stopped your share.
Good, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Oh, started writing.
But Sue, yeah, you're sharing your screen, Sue. What's the question? Oh, maybe you're talking to me. I can't hear you. I see your mouse moving, so I guess you're talking to me. So please change set your sound so that I can hear your question. Yeah, you basically only have one connection, so go to the Sue, go to the audio and button and on the bottom of the Zoom. Okay, let's do this. I'll stop your share because sometimes it's hard to know where to do that. I'll stop your share. Unmute yourself in the regular place
Okay,
and
got it.
now share your screen again. Does
Okay,
everyone have first and
Did
last?
you see my screen?
Yeah, now share your screen. Oh, well, you shared it, so I assumed you had something to show me. Your hand was up.
Yes. Do you see my screen?
No, I stopped your share so you could find the mute,
Okay,
or you need to share again.
here we go.
Got it. Okay, so what's the question?
The question is, I have things in notes that mistakenly got put into iCloud, and I want it to be in documents so I can organize it where I want it. How do I get it out of the cloud and from notes into
Okay.
documents?
So just the fact that you're asking the question the way you're asking, let me clarify to everyone. The concept of cloud and notes and documents is wrong the way you're asking it. So let me explain. Some people, I have thousands of notes. Notes is just a place where you take notes. We're going to start using it. In fact, remember, this is Mac Level 1. Mac Level 2 starts next Tuesday. Notes is one of the apps that we're going to visit and explore. But notes, if you make a note in notes, it's not that it's in the cloud or not in the cloud. The notes and notes stay in the app called Notes. So go ahead and open the notes for a second so people can see. Some people might have never used it. So over here, you have, not too many, but you have, it seems, 2 notes, right? And you made some folders. So see how I'm saying that ultimately it's the same idea? You have this note and that note. That's it, right? And they are in a folder called Notes. You might want to put them in a folder called Music or Cats or something like that. But right now you have them in a generic folder called Notes. Now, this is not a file. Remember I told you that a lot of the apps that we use don't create files that you organize in your computer. They just create files within themselves, like texts. You have to open your text app to see your texts. Mail, you open your mail app to see your mails. Notes, you open your notes app to see your notes, and they stay in there. Now, can you turn a note into a file? Yeah, you can. But if this is right now already in notes mode, right? Then that's where it is. And to find this note, you find it in your notes. It's like you have a little notebook that you open. Now, you might not want that. You might go, oh, I didn't mean to make a note out of it. I wanted to make it a file, in which case you can make it a file and put it in your computer. Now, here's the advantage or disadvantage. Let's go ahead and you have, it seems like a note that you made at some point in 2020 of someone's Filipino food, an address, I guess it's a restaurant, right? Which
Right.
that's a great place to put notes. To put notes of someone's recommendation for a restaurant. It's the kind of thing like if you imagine you're walking around, you meet with your friends and they recommend a restaurant. They recommend a book. You know, in the past, we'd take a scrap of paper and we write it down, and then that scrap of paper goes in your purse and there it is, and then you lose it. Oh, where was that information? You know what I'm trying to say? So the notes app, you open the notes app and make a note called Jade's Filipino food. And you take that information down and that's a note. And in fact, I have a lot of those, only I don't have an entire note just for Jade's Filipino food. What I do is I have, for example, movies. Someone recommends a movie. I don't make a note with the name of that movie. I have a note, an ongoing note here called movies, recommended movies. So then when I meet Sue on the street and she's like, oh, I just came out of the theater. It was such a good movie. What did you see? I went to see, I don't know, Superman. I'll go, oh, okay, that's great. Thanks. And so then I open my movie note and under a bunch of other movies that people have recommended, I write down Superman. Maybe I'll say Sue. So Sue recommended Superman. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's an ongoing notes list. So I might have an ongoing restaurant list. Now, what I do if I'm traveling somewhere, say I'm going to New York, I'll make a little New York recommendations note. And then, you know how when you tell someone you're traveling, they go, oh, you gotta go do this. Oh, you gotta go see that. So then I'll write down, oh, on Broadway Street, and I don't know, this might not be New York, but since it's at Broadway, that came to mind. I'll go, oh, Sue said go to that restaurant. And then, oh, Patricia said go to this show. And Yolanda said go do whatever. And it's all under my notes called New York trip, right? So it's a bunch of little recommendations, which I don't normally go to New York. So I won't, the restaurants that I have recommended will be for Santa Barbara because I live in Santa Barbara. So the other one is just in case I travel to New York or if I travel to Spain, you know, Paris or whatever. So that's an example of an ongoing note. Now, that's a long way around to explain what's the point of your notes app. So if you want to then pick up that note from your computer, because that you just met someone on the street, they just came out of the theater and said, it's such a great movie. You have your phone on you. So you open your notes app and you write down, oh, movies. Sue said, go watch Superman. Okay. And that's it. Like, that's why I have it on my phone. I have it in the cloud because it's a note that I want to have handy wherever I'm in. So I'll take a note of the size of my mom's shoe. And then whenever I'm I find a pair of shoes, I go, oh, this would be perfect to bring to my mom. What was your size? I don't want to have that in my computer. I want to have that in my notes because then I'll pull it up and go, oh, she was size yada yada. Okay, I guess this is the size shoe I'll buy for her. Does that make sense? Notes, ideas, things that you want handy. That's why notes are in the cloud for everyone, not just for people who put their files in the cloud. Notes is a cloud app. Notes is an app that you can open up your notes and see the notes in your computer and in your cloud. Now, I'm going to spend much more time with this next week because that's what we're going to start to do. We're going to start working on all these apps, but I'm explaining why this isn't a file that you won't find in your, and you won't find it in your files under the Finder window. Now, if you instead intended it to have this be something you had in your computer, then you don't make it in Notes. You make it in Word or Pages or something like that where you're right on your computer. I'm not just talking to Sue. I hope everyone's getting the whole point. The difference between a note and an app. Now, granted, for 20 years before this Notes app appeared, I would write things in my computer. I have in my computer things like travel packing list, for example, that I made in Word 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And then since the Notes app started, I transferred my packing list to the Notes. Why is that? Because now I'm not sitting at my computer with my note that I need to print out and then check off with paper. Rather, now I have my notes in my Notes app, and as I go around the house picking up what I need, I just have my phone and I just tap the check mark, because you can make little check mark lists. So I stopped needing it to be a file. Now it's a note. Does that make sense? So it's taking over. A lot of things that I used to do in Word don't need to be done in Word anymore. Now I put it in Notes. Does that make sense? So you might find that this list, which is like, what you want to learn, is good to have in your computer as a document, or you might want to have it here. Now, since my goal is to learn 1 through 8, maybe this might be better instead of a numbered list. Maybe it's better as a checklist. And then when you feel like, oh, I learned how to type, you just check it like done, or how to use the Word app, check it like done, right? Or not. But I'm just saying there's a possibility of something being a list instead of a numbered list. So we'll talk about this next week. Monday, no, not Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, we begin with Mac level 2. All right. And this is a perfect example. I'd love you to bring this up again next week. But right now, the reason I'm spending time of it, even though it isn't a file, is to explain why it isn't a file, so that you guys begin to explore your own files and discover, well, would this be better as a note, right?
Diana,
Need to take this document and make it a note, or looks like I have a note here that maybe is better as a document that lives in my computer. Like, I wouldn't write my novel on a note. That said, my son, who is a writer, he suddenly has an idea in the middle of nowhere, and he used to carry a little notebook around. But guess what? If his notebook isn't around, he opens the Notes app and he jots down his ideas on the Notes app so that they don't disappear from his head. Later, he'll transfer them to where he's writing, right? So consider that some things now are best left in the cloud so you can access them on your phone when you need them and on your computer. Now, if this is something you need only on your computer, then why leave it as a note? Put it in your computer, right? So that's really the big difference between, should it be a note or should it be a document? Well, if you want to sit and write, a report about your board meeting, whatever, yeah, you're probably not going to want it to be a note. You're going to want it to be a whole document. Yeah. But if I'm in a meeting and somebody says something that's interesting, I got my phone with me, I'll take a note of it in my Notes app, right? And then I'll transfer that information to wherever I need to transfer it to. All right. So hopefully the idea of the difference between an app that has its things in the cloud, because that's the function of the app, and doesn't create files, they can still be stored in folders within folders. And that's what I'm going to teach you next week. My Notes app has folders within folders, so that I can organize it the way I organize my files. But they are things I want handy so that I can use them when I'm all over the place, not just on my computer. All right. Georgia, yes.
I am about to travel to Seattle, and my computer no longer can talk to my printer. I have an old printer. I have flight-related documents on my desktop. I don't know how to have access to them when I get to the airport. Could I put them in Notes? The thing is, they're pretty complicated. They're like PDFs and so on.
Yeah. So yes and yes. Hold on. Yes and yes, because I'm saying two things.
Okay.
So you can put them in Notes. In fact, I just traveled, and my notes I had a folder called Camino Santiago, my trip, Spain.
Okay.
Within that folder, I had a subfolder for tickets. I had a
Yeah.
subfolder for hotel reservations. I had a subfolder for packing list. I had a subfolder for, recommendations, right? And in the folder of tickets, I had my plane tickets, my bus tickets, my train tickets, right? And as PDFs. So
Okay.
yeah, I had them on my phone. And then when you go to the train station, you go, okay, which train is this one? There we go. I opened my Notes app. I went to my folder for the Camino and I went to, if I was a train to Pamplona, and I would click on the ticket, and then you just show it because they just want to scan your QR code that's on the ticket. My boarding pass is always on the phone. So you just don't really,
I don't have a notes folder on my in iCloud, although I have something called iCloud Drive.
okay. The notes is not files. It's an app called Notes.
Yes, I know I have it on my phone, but do I have it in my computer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So go to your applications on your applications folder. I'm going to share
Wait.
my screen.
Right.
And when you go to your applications folder, everyone do this. Go find
wait.
app.
So do I do systems?
No, applications folder. It's an application.
Right, so it'll be in systems?
No, it's an application. It'll be under applications. Finder window.
Okay,
Finder window. You have documents, desktop, and you have a folder called applications. All the applications. Everyone go find your notes app application in your window. Once again, this is really next week's class,
Fine.
but that's okay. Because
Sorry, it's
most of you guys are in both classes.
slightly desperate. All right, okay, file find applications. Done.
Okay,
So
now go ahead and scroll alphabetically to the end
no,
notes app.
okay, there's notes app, okay.
By the way, I have it down here in my dock because I use it all the time. But if you don't have it in your dock, then you'll find it there.
Okay,
Double click on your notes app, and here we go. So here's my example of notes, packing lists, and quick note.
right.
SBCC help. So whenever people call me and say, I need a link to something and I'm on the street, I'm not at home, I go to SBCC folder and I can click in here and send people the links of what they're asking about, the core ones, not that week's class, but the general ones. How to get onto Zoom or whatever, strange help. I can copy this and paste it in an email if someone reached out to me. So I have some information here. So I have 9 notes in here from 2024, 2023, 2022, because, I guess this one is old now, front office hours. But yeah, I have been making notes for a while. Now here's an example of someone recommended a book, and this one I did here in class, right? So I had everyone yell out, give me a book that you recommend. So I made this note in class in my last example of taking notes. Here's my packing list. So when I'm done connecting with Elena, I'll just click on it. Done. Oh, I need to finish working curtains. Done. Or no, I hadn't done it. So this is an example of a note in the mode of list. And this is an actual real list. Did I bring my umbrella? No, I decided not to, so I crossed it out. But how about a poncho? Yep, there we go. I bought it, right? And so you can make lists with subfolders and sublists and stuff like that. Packing lists for camping, and here we kind of invented this one for class as well, because this isn't my real phone, right? But yeah, I can say, oh, got my pants, and then it kind of goes to the bottom, or if I'm beginning to pack, everything is unchecked. And then as I get, and this is a constant list, so every time I'm ready to camp, I uncheck it. And then it's like, okay, and I can, hold on, I can just say, okay, I'm gonna go to the kitchen and pick up my water bottles, or I'm gonna get the kitchen pots or my pan. Okay, I packed their pants, I packed their shoes, see how it kind of go, I packed their stuff. Okay, kids are packed, how about me? Okay, I'm gonna pack my stuff. Okay, I'm packed, how about let me go to the kitchen? I'm packed. Does that make sense? Or maybe I forgot to bring the sponge and I have to go find it, so it's unchecked until I go find it. So that's an example of a note that I want handy. It looks like I have 30 notes. These are all my notes. This is like all the notes I have. And then some are organized into folders. Okay. I'll teach you how to use this next week. But what I'm saying is, let me show you my phone now.
Yeah,
All right. So now I'm sharing my phone. And here's my notes app on my phone.
right.
I'll open it. And I'm gonna go over here, and here are all my notes. Okay, packing this for camping, the one I just showed you. Boom, packing this for camping. And in fact, it's already checked exactly the same way I left it checked from my computer. You know how I just checked this, this is what I left unchecked. This is what I just did on my computer. Now I'll go, oh, well, I guess I need to look at the kids' shirts again because the ones I got are too small. I'll uncheck it. And when I get back to my computer, this one will be unchecked because it's the same note. That's why it's not a file, because it's in the cloud in your notes. Okay? Does that make sense? Then I'll go
Yes.
back out and I'll go and say, well, maybe I don't want a packing list. Maybe I want to, oh, a recipe. Oh my God, great lentil stew. At some point I saw a note of a wonderful lentil soup and I put it in my notes app. And so now I can be in Argentina and I can make my lentil soup for my mom, right? Because I put it in my notes app instead of leaving it at home in my computer. Oh, here's an example. Tickets.
Right.
Here's an example of me putting all the information of my tickets, what terminal, where to go. I put that information in there. Pretty,
How
Yeah.
do you, okay, so I have a phone with a notes app, and I have my notes app on my computer. How
Mhm.
do I just move the file over into the notes?
Okay.
The
Again,
thing that,
you're not going to be here next week. So,
no, I'm traveling tomorrow and I'm in,
all right. So then let me talk a little bit more about this, and everyone go ahead. I mean, as I said, most of you guys are going to be in the class next week anyway. So this is kind of about files, even though it's the files that are not files, but it affects Georgia because she has files that she needs to take with you. And how does she take them with you? Well, I want to say one more thing. If you were putting all your files on the cloud, like half of this class is, then you wouldn't need to worry because they'd be in your phone. All these things that are on your desktop would be in your phone. But since you choose not to do that and your phones are isolated in your computer, I want everyone to hear well when I say, what are the advantages of putting your stuff on the cloud? It's because you wouldn't be having this problem. Because on the phone, you go to your files app and there it is. Those are your files that are on your computer, which I was going to do that today. We're going to do that right now. After I'm done with this conversation, we're going to go and find out all these files we've been organizing. Where do I see them on my phone? If you already have your things on the cloud. But I know Georgia doesn't have her things on the cloud. And so thus she's like, what do I do with all these things? And even if she had her printer working, she'd have a stash of paper. What happens if those papers get lost or misfiled or, you know, they get wet or something happens or they're in a suitcase that you lose? So you want to be able to reach them with your phone. What if you lose your phone? Well, you can always go find any computer and go to iCloud.com and there you'd have all your travel documents, right? So that's the advantage of the cloud. All right, so here's the notes, right? And
Right.
here's the files you said you had on your desktop.
yes.
Okay, so say that over here on your, what are they, PDFs? What are they?
Yeah, yes, they're PDFs.
All right, so you can create a new note. Okay, so I'm going to go to notes here and make sure that you're in the cloud. This is the little icon to create a new note. Everyone, let's create it. Now open your notes app. We're going to, even if you've never used it, if you've never used it, it'll say welcome. And just go down to continue. And then we're going to click on, oh, and by the way, I have some of my notes are shared with my husband, for example. So it's a grocery list. We can both check it and stuff like that. So you can share notes with people. Anyway, I just made a new note right there. That little guy, new note.
Right.
And I call this one travel, travel documents, for example, or something like that. Is it Alaska? Okay.
Yeah,
So call it something.
Seattle, but
Yeah, I don't know why I said Alaska.
it's
Seattle.
Alaska Airlines. It happens.
Yeah, up there, somewhere up there in the north. I'm like way on the other side of the world right now, way somewhere down there in the south. Okay,
Right.
so travel documents to Seattle. Now, you can, if you want, if you see your Finder window, one of the things you can do is you can just drag it. So you can just drag it right there, boom. Right? So if you have your pick ticket, now if it's a PDF, for example, so what kind of files do you have? I'll go find a type of file. I'll go find a type of file.
PDFs.
Okay, so let me find some PDFs. I have some PDFs right here. Here's a PDF, okay? So what I can just do that was a photo, so that wasn't a PDF, so I'm gonna delete it, hit this delete, and instead I'm gonna grab this one that's iCloud PDF, just drag it in there. And now there's my PDF, okay? And the information, and in fact, I can grab another one. So you can make a note for each one. You don't need to have them all at once. Or you can have, let me find another PDF. I need to find, let me go here, items to organize. I have some PDFs. Here's another PDF. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab this one and I'm gonna drag it in there. Online Return Center. I don't know what this PDF is. What is it? It's one of those, oh, it's one of those Amazon things where you have to return something. Okay, so I'm gonna drag, hold on, I have the chat in the way. So I can just drag this in here and put it in there. So now in the OneNote, I have this one and that one. And okay, mine aren't tickets, right? But this could be itineraries and stuff. Or I can have, better yet, a folder called Travel to Seattle, or just call it Seattle. And then I have one note called tickets and one note called reservations, or one note called, and you just drag the documents into there. So that's one way to do it. Now, someone mentioned yesterday in my photos class that there's a feature in the Photos app where you have some hidden photos, and then in those, they said they keep their passport photos in that. So it's not you guys, I'm not about to teach you how to use that feature of the Photos app, but there's a hidden folder that you can do. Well, guess what? These notes you can lock. You can lock so that you can only open the password. So I have my documents, but I just have photos of my passport, of my IDs and all that. I have them in a note that I've locked so that I have to put a little password in it so that if someone does at some point get my phone or something like that, then they won't be able to get to my passport. Does that make sense? Notes can be photos, notes can be tables, notes can be checklists, notes can be recorded, right? So I can record a note to myself. Did that work, Georgia? Were you able to drag some of your documents into a note?
I was,
Okay, now go to your phone, open your notes and see if you see it. Okay. Now, everyone else, give me a yes if you were able to do that. Were you able to make a note? Now, you don't need to drag a document like she did, but make a note and then write, this is a note, this is a note, sample. And then go
I'm
to your
not
phone,
seeing-
give it a second, and then
All
open
right.
your notes app on
Yes,
your phone. And
travel documents to Seattle.
now I'm going to open up my phone and share with you guys my phone. I just made that on the computer. Now I'm opening up my phone. And here's my phone. So now I'm going to the iCloud and there it is. This is my phone now, guys. I just made this in the computer. This is a note, travel documents to Seattle. Here it is. It's on my phone.
It says,
I know
it says,
it's not travel documents, but does that make sense? I just found it in my phone, even though I just made it on my computer.
I found it on my phone too. It says 5 PDFs, and when I open it, it's all pictorial. Does it matter?
What do you mean it's all
It's
pictorial?
just pictures. So
Oh,
is
your
I think
PDF.
like a preview mode. Okay.
Does it have the information you need or not? I would
It has
would
for the thing
probably
I
make
need.
one per note. Maybe I would make one note with each one so that you can open it myself, but I don't know. I don't know
I'll
what,
figure something out. At least I know it's on my phone. Thank you.
you're welcome. So I see your hand up, Denise. I'm gonna clear your feedback. I want a yes for everyone who opened their notes app on the computer and wrote something and found it on their phone, or opened their notes app on their phone, wrote something and found it on their computer. So that's what I want you guys to do. And so this is a little bit of a heads up on something that's happening next week. But then it coincided with Georgia's having files that she needed to have handy. So I showed her how to do that. You just put that file in a note. Now, if that worked for you, give me a yes. Okay. Now, meanwhile, you're all working on that. I'm going to ask Denise what her question was. So yes, Denise. I have something stuck in my tooth.
Okay, so I had notes already on my phone, but I never checked them on my computer because I have them on my phone. But since you were talking about this app, I realized that they are not in my computer. And that little exercise we just did, it's on my computer, but not on my phone. It doesn't sync.
Okay,
So,
good point. That's exactly the kind of answer I want right now. So let me show you what needs to happen for it to have worked. So open your system settings.
on my laptop.
Either one, you're gonna have to open both. So I'm opening the one from the laptop. Right?
Mhm.
So I'm opening the laptop one as an example first.
Uh-huh.
Notes is an app that shows up in the cloud. So I'm gonna head
Right.
over to the cloud on my system settings and then to the cloud again. And here it is, notes.
To general and cloud.
General, not general. No, cloud is all the way up at the top. It's under your name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Uh-huh. And then I open the cloud.
Cloud. And
Uh-huh.
then I have notes right there, but you might not. You
Mhm.
might need to say see all.
Oh, yeah, it's off. Okay.
And so then you
So,
turn it on.
okay,
Oh,
Okay.
done.
The same with
that's
it.
what we got.
Same,
have it
same
off.
thing with my phone.
And then if you have it off on your phone as well, and again, guys, this is if there's a question about this, we will be redoing this next week, okay? But yeah, now I'm opening my phone and I will go to the system settings on my phone and I'm going to go to the cloud on my phone and I'm going to go to the cloud on my phone and there's my notes app. And when I click on my notes app, it needs to be syncing. So they both need to be syncing to the cloud. That way, if you lose your phone, you don't lose your notes. And if you don't want to,
Okay.
so, you know, that's basically the deal. Your apps need to sync to the cloud because remember, it never happens. And it's so funny that we said that because it looks like the note that I did create is the one where I was showing, how funny. It's the one where it's the app, it's the iCloud one,
Mhm.
where it shows that the Mac doesn't
Mhm.
connect to the phone, it connects to the cloud. And the phone connects to the cloud, so it all goes through the cloud.
Mhm. Okay, so because before when I had my note from the laptop open, I had two email addresses were showing, not my main one, but two others. I don't know why not my main one, but now I see the iCloud is showing, so it should sync now. Okay, good. Thank you.
Now, as we're doing this, this is a perfect introduction to what I wanted to tell everyone. Without the Notes app, but with the files that we've been organizing, is what I wanted to show you. So this happens to have been something that we talked through because I wanted to explain, well, you know, the original question that Sue asked, which now you might understand why I corrected her wording. She said, I made a note, but I want to organize it on, it's in the cloud and I don't want it in the cloud. I want it in there. It's like, it's just that a note is in the cloud. That is how notes, they don't belong. They are not files. They are part of an app that lives, that is part of the whole cloud system. You can have them independent, like Denise just had. She had a notes app on her phone. She was taking notes all this time. She had a notes app on her computer that she didn't even know she had, but when she opened it, the notes weren't there. Why? Because the computer had to be connected to the cloud on the notes app, and the phone had to be connected to the cloud on the notes app. Now they're going to start talking, and now you'll have them on both sides. But that's the crucial thing. When people see them in one place and not the other, what's the crucial thing? The settings. The sync feature has to be turned on. Otherwise, still stuff stays in its own place, right? And that is what we did. Half of you guys put your documents from your computer in the cloud, and that's what you did. You synced your documents folder to the cloud. The half of you who did that, if you go to your phone now, everyone pull up your phone, please. Every single person, pull up your phone.
Mhm. I do.
Doesn't matter if your files are on the cloud or not. Everyone, please pull out your phone. I'm sharing my phone now. And now we're going to go find a folder, a fold on your phone. We're going to find a file called Files. And it looks like this on your phone. And if you don't see it anywhere, because you don't recognize that one, and who knows, maybe, then go to the search and type the word Files. And it'll pop up because it's native to the phone. So I'm going to clear the feedback, although I'm aware there, Michelle, that you said for you it wasn't working either. So can you later let me know that you need a hand with that too? So if you found the Files app on your phone, then give me a yes. Everyone, no matter that your files are supposed to be on the cloud or not, I just need to know that you found the Files app on your phone. I did a search and that's how I find it, but otherwise, if you just need to find it, it looks like that, right? It's this one here.
I don't have that on my phone.
Okay, so then do a search. Go to the search feature and then write the word Files.
What was the search button?
Okay, look at my computer. I have it down there.
Yeah.
But don't see it down there. Then you can also put your finger in the middle in the neutral area between apps and push down, and then the search appears. All right. And then just write Files, just fill is enough. And there it comes up. Did it come up for you, Philip? Did it come up? Everyone who, Carol Gear, did you find it? Colette? Oh,
I
Colette.
found it.
Okay, so now click on it. Now you might or not be where I am. Wherever you are, let me tell you where we're going to go. So let's all, no matter where you are, let's go down to the bottom of your phone and click on the word browse right there. So right there. That way we're all in the same place now. So now that you're browsing, are you in this place? Let me clear your answers. If you hit the browse, are you here? Now give me a yes if you found the browse and you are here. Hey, Colette, where are you at? You don't find the files?
I'm looking for the
Talking to Colette for a second?
browse. I don't have it on my phone.
Okay, is that your problem too, Colette? You don't find the browse?
I'm sorry, what?
No, actually, it's just that I'm looking at a completely different list of files and locations there. But if actually, never
I
mind,
can't
I
hear you.
went
There's a
back.
train going by.
No, that's fine. Colette is talking to
I'm-
me.
I'm
So,
there.
1 second, Philip. I'm listening to Colette. So just 1 second, Philip. So
Changing no to
looking
yes.
you're not looking at the Files app?
I am, and I'm changing no to yes.
No to yes. Okay. Philip, did you find the Files file? The Files app?
No, I don't see it on my phone.
Okay, so Philip, did you do a search? Because you won't see it. If you never use it, you might not know where it's hiding. So don't try to find it. Just click on the search feature and write the word Files. Then it's 90% of the possible chance that it's there. Now, I know Julie isn't saying yes because she doesn't have an iPhone. She has an Android, so she won't find it. But everyone else who has an iPhone will find it. Philip, do you have an iPhone or an Android? Carol Gear, do you find it? Did you find it?
I've got a mess, but I have the browse thing on my phone. But
good.
when we went to documents some time ago, the all of these apps came in with my
Right,
documents.
so hold on. As long as you opened it up and you went to browse, let's wait for a minute because people don't
Okay.
even know where to go from here. So hang in there.
Okay, I'm on browse.
You're on browse. Okay, Justine, are you following through? I know sometimes you're working and you're not following through, but I just want to make sure that if you're following through, that I check in with you.
Hi, thanks. No, I'm not doing, I have an Android. I'm probably going to get an iPhone pretty soon, but I tend not to really follow along with a lot of the phone stuff you folks are doing because it doesn't usually fit me.
No,
Thanks.
that's fine. I just wasn't remembering, like, I already know Julie has one, but I forgot that you had an Android as well. So then I'll stop asking. I just needed to
Yeah.
remind myself about that. All
No,
right.
thank
so, hi, Linda. So, we're looking at our phones and we found the Files app on our phones. And so once again, if you find this app called Files, if you don't find it, go to the search, tap on search and type the word file, and then it'll pop up right there. Now, when we opened it, it landed wherever it landed, and people landed in different places. And I told everyone, let's all click on the word browse. That way we're all in the same spot. So Linda, whenever you're there, let me know. Meanwhile, let's take people to your documents. First of all, the iCloud Drive is the hard drive that holds all your documents. So let's click on iCloud Drive right here. Now, there's going to be a division in the group. People who have their documents on the cloud and their desktop on the cloud, right? If that's you, you can click on documents and here they are, all the files that you've been organizing and doing. And look, here's the one that I just made today, items to be organized. Remember, I made that one today, class files, Zoom. Here are all the folders that I just made in my computer. I'm going to click on items to be organized, and here are my files, building, my novel. Basically, this is what I have on my computer. Does that make sense? If I back out and I go to my desktop, those of you who left things on your desktop, there you see the things that are on your desktop. What do you mean your desktop? Yeah, your computer's desktop. There it is. Your documents and your desktop are right there. Okay. Now, for those of you who did not put your documents in your desktop in the cloud, which is about half of you, you can't see your files on your computer because they're on your phone. They've been left in your computer. Like Georgia, who had files in her computer, I couldn't tell her, go to your files app and pick them up from there because she doesn't have them connected. So I had to teach her the whole, put them in the notes thing. But if she had connected her documents to her computer, she could have just done that. And here they'd be because she said she had them on her desktop. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, I'm going to now clear my feedback. Those of you who do have your stuff on the cloud, give me a yes, like, oh yeah, there they are on my phone. I am seeing my computer's files. And those of you who don't have your stuff on the cloud because you never had it, so it's correct that you don't see them, give me a no. So if you have a question, because you should be seeing them, but you can't, then raise your hand. So if you give me a no, it's because, yeah, I shouldn't be seeing them. I never put my stuff on the cloud. So it doesn't mean that you're in trouble. It means that, yeah, things are correct. Does that make sense? You are not seeing your desktop and documents because you don't have them on the cloud. And a yes is yes, I am seeing them because I have them on the cloud. So the only ones that I need to have you raise your hand is if you should be seeing them and you're not, or you shouldn't be seeing them and you are, like there's a problem here, or you don't know where to look for this stuff. Like Linda just got here, so she probably doesn't know where to look for this stuff. So I'm going to help Linda now. Okay. So, unless you found them, but if so, then give me a yes or a no, because you're not answering. All right. And then Julie and Justine, who have Androids, you just kind of hang in there, don't do anything. All right, so no one seems to be raising their hand like a question, but Philip, I don't see any answer from you. So what's happening? Do you still not find your files app? I don't know what's happening, Philip, because I can't hear you, so.
I don't think he hears you.
Philip, can you hear me, Philip?
I can hear you, but I don't,
All right, so
on
can
my
you
phone, I don't have,
tell me what's happening
I
on your
can't
phone?
find the iCloud
All right, so
Drive.
it's not an iCloud, it's the files. So let me show you again. Do you know how to get to the main page of your computer? Like you're not inside an app, you're just, not your computer, sorry, your phone.
Oh.
You're just in where all the little icons are. You know how to get to the main one? Because you
But
might be
this is,
inside of Safari, inside of something. So you need to get rid of everything by pushing up and be in this main page where all the icons are. Are you there on your phone?
mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you see a search somewhere in the bottom? You might not be seeing it.
Way in the bottom. Nope.
Okay. Then plan B, look at my phone, look at me, not at yours. I'm gonna, okay, put your finger anywhere in between apps, okay? Not on an app. First watch my example and then do it. Put your finger in a place that you see has no apps and then just gently pull down. Gently pull down, okay? So put your phone anywhere neutral and just give a very gentle pull down. Did that work?
All my things are going wiggly.
Yeah, so then you should see above the keyboard, you should see the word search. I'm gonna do that again. You just put your finger and just push down a teensy bit, and then right above your keyboard, your search appears.
Am I on my phone or my computer?
You're on your phone. This is only the phone.
This works on the Android too, by the way. I just did it.
The search feature, the pull down.
Yep.
Right, yeah. So everyone test that, even if you're in the right place, just test that. In case you don't know how to find things, you can either, if you see the search feature, then just click on it. But the other way to pull this feature up is just pulling gently down. And then the search appears and then you type FIL and, oh, okay, I should write up looking at my screen. And then that way you can search for anything, you know, like the Notes app. You're like, I don't know where the Notes app, right? NOT. There's the Notes app, right? If you weren't able to find it yet, or any app that someone says, do you have this app? And you're like, I don't know, just start typing it and it'll pop up. All right, I'm gonna let you find this yourself right now, Philip, because I need to keep going and you can't share your phone for me to see if you're in the right place. So just saying that you need to learn how to search your phone because the Files app comes with a phone and everyone has it, as long as it's an iPhone. Okay, so now cool. So I'm going to stop my share. So how does that feel to know that those of you who have a yes, that you can find your files from everywhere? Now, why would you want to find your files from everywhere? Well, for example, Georgia wouldn't have to be transferring them somewhere. She could just pick up her files from her desktop on her phone. But the main reason I always give, and listen to me, everyone, I'm not trying to convince you to put your things in the cloud. I'm explaining the good side of it, is that you can literally be anywhere in the world, in Santa Barbara, or in, you know, Seattle, or in Bangladesh, and you lose your phone, right? And you need access to your notes, for example, or you need access to your desktop and documents because that's where you left your travel documents. And guess what? You can go to any hotel room or friend's house or whatever, open a browser and go to iCloud.com, sign in, and you go to the drive. And it's the same place, browse. I'm on the computer now. Here's my desktop and here's my documents. I open my documents and here was the one I just made today, items to be organized, miscellaneous. I'll open items to be organized. Here are the files that I was organizing, okay? Now, I've lost my phone. I've lost my computer, a hurricane, a tornado, whatever. And guess what? It's all here. Here's what's on my desktop. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
That is for your documents. On the other hand, for those of you who don't put your documents in there, then definitely use notes. So here's notes. And take care of, so here's the notes and here's probably the documents to Seattle. It's on the cloud. Now, it's not as helpful as having it in your phone because, you know, if you're at the airport, but if they stole your phone and you have a trip coming up, you go to your hotel and ask for a computer and you print out the documents. Why? Because you had them in your notes. For those of you who have them in your documents or in your desktop, you go to the drive browse, documents, or desktop. Here's all your computer files. So, if all of that was clear and made sense and you got it and you can, some of you don't have it on the cloud, but then you saw the notes working, then what you need to do is put important things on your notes. For those of you who do have your things on your cloud, now you know how you can get them from anywhere. If all of that made sense and it worked and all is good, give me a yes. If you have any questions, this is a good time to ask. Some of you might go, oh, I want to do this. How do I now put my stuff on the cloud? Because you might be convinced. Some of you might be like, oh no, I don't want my things to be all over the place. I want to take them off. This is the time to ask either way about this system. And Michelle, you had raised your hand a while ago and now you're raising it again. So there you go. So now what's the question?
When I put it on, tried to put it on notes, my document as a
Mhm.
sample, it didn't go over there. It just,
Okay, what document was it? Hers was a PDF, so it worked fine.
well, I did pick a PDF as well.
All right.
So,
Share your screen so we can see how.
yeah.
Because you can also import it, you can right click and bring it. I mean, there's so many other ways. That way I just dragged it because it was one way that was right there, but there's other ways to do it. So you can grab a document and share it to yourself. Anyway. All right, so go ahead and
So here, let's see. Trying to find a PDF now.
if you go to Kind, then all your PDFs will be put together, for example. Yeah, you'd have to make your window a little bit, right? Hold on. Kind's right there. I'm trying to find my here, Kind. No. Okay. Stop. What you just did is really important. Let me stop everyone. You know how when I said go to Kind, she went to group? I don't recommend, go ahead and go back to group. Yeah, I would recommend keeping this one on none always. Which is the top choice, none, meaning it doesn't sub-organize itself automatically into something unless, for example, my downloads that I always want them to organize themselves by date. But other than that, keep this one free. And now you just have these words here, kind and date, and you can just click on these to temporarily change things over because you don't want always to see things by kind. So there you go. Now scroll up and down, and here already I see a PDF. Okay, so here's all your PDFs, for example.
Okay. I don't know if these are really working. These lessons that were downloaded, they
Well,
may
go
have
ahead and
stopped.
select one and hit your space bar to see it. And if it's working, then it's working. Just select one.
Okay.
The space bar.
Okay, that one's working.
It's working. Good.
Okay, so then I go to my notes, right? Well, I was getting confused with pages and notes.
Very
But
no.
it didn't really it did put it on pages, but like
It's
only
a
half
whole
of it.
different, it's a whole different thing. So let's not
Yeah.
even talk about it being in pages right now. Notes is what we talked about. So that's where you
Okay,
want.
yeah, so I went there and then I,
Hold on. You have to make a new note. Like you have to create a note. Right now, you don't have a note created. So go to notes and make a new note.
a new folder.
Oh, a new note right there. You right there. This little, yeah, perfect. Now drag it in, drag that document into the new note.
How did I make that? I just clicked. Is that
Yeah.
all I needed to do?
And now you drop it in there.
Oh, okay, so what did I do? I just clicked here to make a new note because all of a sudden that appeared. Oh, I went here. Okay. So if I do that, oh, I gotcha. Okay. That's what I was doing. I
Wait,
wasn't
so
making a new note.
this last one, all you did was drop in a PDF and you didn't give it any text. It doesn't have a name. This one gets, write something here right now. Write something in here this time. This is a new note, right? Click in there
Click in here.
and write something. I don't know, another sample, whatever, tack, XXX, just write something. Okay, now go grab another PDF. Doesn't, yeah, click on it and drag it in. Perfect. Now, this one is whatever, that lesson. Does that make sense? Versus this one doesn't have a name. You can put a name on it, by the way, but
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Now, there's so many other ways to do this. This dragging is one way, but it doesn't need to be the only way. But you need to create a place to drop your PDF in, which was create a note. And now your folder is just called new folder. You can right click and call it lesson plans, for example. Right? And so your new folder here on the left
Oh,
could
that's where you write. How do you rename it again?
go to the three dots and
Right
rename.
here.
Yeah,
Okay.
click
Um,
twice on the name.
okay.
Oh, but
All
hold
right.
on, hold on. Wait, let me just say something. If Birch Lesson has many different lesson plans, then that's fine for a folder. But if Birch Lesson is one lesson, then this should be a folder of lesson plans, and then this note should be the Birch lesson plan, and this one should be the, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
This should be, the list should be called lesson plan, generally
This
lesson
should be just
plans.
lesson plans. Now, it's possible that you have a lesson plan that has many documents, in which case you have a folder, but the folder holds all your lesson plans, right? So then go ahead and click on this one, and let's just call it lesson plans. So rename it to lesson plan. Does that make sense, you guys? It's the main holder, and then she'll have one note for the lesson plan about birches and another lesson plan for camping, right?
Why is this one in the lesson and this one in new
Because
note?
you made the first one without giving it a name, so the name is called new note. You just didn't give it a name. So
Oh,
right click on it. Right click. Yeah. Right
I'm
click.
challenged with this whole touch screen.
Yeah, you know what? No, you can't rename a note. It needs to be text that's in the note. Okay. So go click inside the note. So the text, again, you know what? I kind of need to stop here. No.
Yeah, no,
Stop here.
we don't have to keep going.
Got it. Let me just explain. I will teach you how to use the note top next week. I really will. So for
Okay.
now, I was just dealing with the fact that you said it didn't work. It did work. Now, how to make a note, to give it a title, to put stuff into it, or to write into it, that I will spend more time with next week. Okay. I just noticed,
Okay.
I just stopped myself and went, wait, I'm
Yeah,
beginning,
you're going into the whole other.
I need to finish today's class today, right?
Yeah.
So hold on to that idea, and I'll teach you all to be more efficient with your notes next week and with many other apps, but that's one of them. So, Sue, yeah, what's your question?
I
Oh.
forgot what my question was.
I recommend that whenever you raise your hands, you make a note, talking about notes, because yeah, I sometimes a question takes 1 minute and sometimes it takes 10. So I'm sorry, it'll come back, I'm sure. So what I was asking, and maybe that's when you raised your hand, was have you found the files that you expected to find in the cloud and in your files app? And if you didn't expect to find your files in the cloud because you didn't put them there, then did you see that they weren't there? And thus, if you need something in the cloud, you need to, for example, put it in notes. Like if everything I've been saying and explaining is working, give me a yes. And for Michelle, it was working to see her notes, but she didn't know how to do what I had shown Georgia. But that's like deeper into the notes app, and we'll work that next week. You can
I
create.
remember my question.
Oh, good.
It was, now that I've got we're on my browse on my phone. If I wanted to go onto the cloud, sync it with the cloud, do I just turn on iCloud Drive?
No, go to the settings on your phone. Okay, let me just show you where to do that. So for those of you who decided, ooh, that was a really good idea, I want to turn it on. And again, I'm not telling you have to, but if you liked this, then I will share my phone right now and I'll show you how to do that. How to say, you know what, I do want my files to be in the cloud. So this is a big change. Okay, so I want to explain what I'm about to show you to do to make sure that it's what you asked. The decision that oh, I want to be able to go to browse and see my desktop and documents on my phone, or I want to see them on the iCloud.com in a hotel in Bangladesh. To do that, you need to put your desktop and documents folder on the cloud. If we're clear about that, How do you accomplish that? That's what I'm about to show. Is that what you're asking, Sue?
Yes.
Okay, so then open your settings on your phone, okay? And we go to the cloud. Right here, we go to the cloud. Then we go down to the iCloud portion of it, right there.
Wait, I'm trying to find my settings.
Right, so open your settings and then tell me you're there. Okay, guys, since most of you guys have said yes, I'm clearing your feedback. Hi, Barbara. So now
And
this is for anyone
do-
who decided that they do want their stuff on the cloud. That's what I'm showing Sue. So anyone else who has decided that, please do the same. Now, if you've already have your stuff on the cloud, just watch this little bit because you don't need to do it. And if you've decided, no, I'm fine, I don't want my stuff, my desktop and apps on the cloud, then don't do this. Just want to clarify, I'm not asking you all to follow through with this because you'll find your stuff on the cloud if you didn't want this. And what I'm doing now for Sue is helping her put her desktop and documents on the cloud. And anyone else who wants to, then please follow the same instructions. All right. Did you find
Well,
your settings on your phone?
I don't necessarily want to do it. I want to know how to do it.
Okay, well then, did you find your settings on your
Yes.
phone? Right?
Yes,
So go to the cloud
see the cloud.
and here's the word drive. Click on drive.
Am I going to be able to get out of the cloud once I'm in the cloud?
Yeah, no, we're not doing it. You said you don't want to do it. Open the word iCloud and then you got to choose to sync the phone. If you
Oh.
don't choose to sync a phone, it won't. If you choose to sync a phone, it will.
Got it.
That's where you make that choice. Keep your files in sync with the iCloud. Access and share them
Okay,
on
so
all your
go
devices.
to
on iCloud.
Drive.
It's the iCloud drive.
So then you go to the drive.
Mhm.
It says drive, my drive says off.
Exactly. So if you
Yes.
want it on, you would have to say on and then it would be syncing. Okay, so I'm
Okay.
not having you do it. I'm showing you where to do it.
Right,
If anyone
exactly.
wants to do that, that's how you do it. From
Great.
your phone. Now, if you're on your computer, then instead, what you do is you do it on your computer. You open your system settings on your computer. And you go to the cloud. And then here's the drive. And same thing, it'll say off. And you just say on for desktop and document folders. Because this is one that matters the most, because the phone doesn't have your folders and files right now. So even if you say on your phone, they're not going to appear on your phone because they're still in your computer, right? It's just that if you do turn them on your computer, then you need to turn them on your phone. So you see, you guys, they have to be turned on both sides. If she now had said yes and turned them on her phone, the computer's like, okay, but they're still stuck in the computer. I can't show them to you on your phone. You are only doing half of the contact. You connected your phone to the cloud, but there's no files in the iCloud because they're still in your computer. So you need to come in here and tell your system settings on your computer that, yes, I want my desktop and documents folders to sync, and you need to say on. Right now, this is on, so it's on, and for yours, it'll be off. It'll be gray. Then your computer will send the files to the cloud, and then the cloud will send the files to your phone. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Sue, you're saying no.
I haven't found it on my computer.
All right,
I
well, open your system settings.
I've got under general.
Nope. The cloud material is always under your name at the top. So if I could really, there's one thing that I wish I could really clarify for everyone.
Apple account.
Always from here down is your own computer stuff. From here up is the cloud, right? Always. And I
Okay.
darn wish they'd left that line that they used to have in here because it's so hard. And I may understand why it's hard because there's no
Got it.
cloud. And then you go to the cloud right there.
Right.
And that's the drive. And
Got
this,
it.
you have to make the choice. This is the big choice. Do I send the stuff from my computer to the cloud? That's the big choice. Even if you don't want it on your phone, now at least they're safe from your computer dying. Plan B, I'll teach you next class how to do a backup of your computer so that you still have them safe if they're on your computer. But if you put them on the cloud, then you go to your phone and say, now I want to see them on my phone. So then you have to turn on that feature in the phone and then they'll go from the cloud to your phone. or to your cloud, to your iPad. Maybe you want them on your phone, but not on your iPad, or the other way around. I don't need my files on my computer and phone, but I do want them on my iPad. They don't take space. They're on the cloud. They just show themselves to you and all these devices. Okay. All right.
Got it.
So if anyone changed their mind and does want their stuff on the cloud, that's what you do. Someone had their hand up a second ago. Patricia, was it? No, Barbara? Who had their hand
Yes,
up?
yes, I have it.
Okay, Patricia, you got it?
Diana,
Yes.
the same, getting access to the files to the iCloud is the same way you turn it off from the phone as in the computer?
Yeah, so on the computer, you do it in the system settings,
Uh-huh.
iCloud Drive, and on the phone, you go to system settings, iCloud Drive. So it's exactly the same.
Okay, because I don't want to have them in the cloud because I have Google already. But seems that my computer have it on my desktop and my computer and in the cloud. And I don't want them in the cloud. But when I go optimize Mac storage is off, and then iCloud is off. Photos are off, but it shows that I have like a 75% files in there.
Okay. There's a possibility. People who've been using their computers for a long time, like Patricia, before you could put your desktop and documents on the cloud. That's before. The iCloud Drive already existed, and it functioned like the Google Drive, and she mentioned Google, in that it was just another place to put stuff. So it's possible that a long time ago, or now, for all of you guys who never turned on the feature of desktop and documents, it's possible that you went to your iCloud Drive on the cloud and you find some stuff. And that's stuff that you put in there as if it were a separate hard drive. I don't want to get deeply into that unless a lot of you guys have that situation. But I'm wondering, Patricia, if that's your situation, that you do have stuff in there that is not part of your computer, it's just in the cloud. If you want to share your screen, I can show you that. But if not, unless it's some other people's, if that's the same as some other people's experience.
I can show you at the end of the class if you want to.
Yes.
Or next week, because I'm not connected right now with that.
All right, so next week we're going to be talking more about the cloud, and that's when we can do that.
Okay, thank you so much, Diana.
In the past, the iCloud Drive was considered just more space in the cloud, but it wasn't synced to your phone and to your whatever, so you could put some stuff in there, so you could grab it when you were out of the country, for example.
Yes, because I don't even have an iCloud account, email. I don't even have it. So,
well,
okay.
Everyone who owns an Apple device has an iCloud account. You might have never seen it or wanted it or used it, but the fact that you own a Apple device, you have an iCloud account. Just saying. It could be completely, untouched, unused, on everything, but you have one.
Oh, okay.
All right, just saying, because that's how you set up a computer. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And by the way, Patricia has been a PC user forever, and on the PC, the systems don't have an iCloud version, so people just migrate to use Google as their system, which is another company. And so she's got something similar happening to Google. Now she bought a Mac, but she keeps her files in the PC system on the cloud. Okay, and that's what she's talking about, and I just wanted to explain what she meant in case people are asking why she's using Google, because that's how she's had it set up, and that's what PC people do. They don't have the Apple Cloud, so they have their stuff on the PC, Google Drive. All right, Carol Gear.
Some time ago, when I opened documents, a bunch of apps jumped into my document file.
That's what you mentioned, yeah. So can you share your screen? At the beginning, you had mentioned that, and I said I was in here. Okay, so guys, while I'm helping Carol with this, what I want you guys to do is, if you find a file that you haven't organized yet on your phone, those of you who have stuff in the cloud, that you don't want, you might want to go and try to delete it from the cloud, and then you'll see that it's also deleted in your computer. What I'm trying to say is everything we've been organizing in your computer, you could have been doing it on your phone or on your iPad as well. If you're one of the people who has their stuff on the cloud, you can do this work when you're on your phone. You're sitting there waiting an hour for the doctor to see you. Well, just open up your drive, open up, browse, go to your documents and start renaming files to something that makes sense. Like the same stuff we did on your computer, you can do it on your phone or on your iPad. Does that make sense? You can move something to the trash. You can do that. Give that a try on your phone. But the trash will not be the same trash as your computer. This is important. It'll be on a trash on your phone. If you trash it on your computer, it'll be on the trash on your computer because you're taking them out of the drive when you trash them. So just if you trash it on the phone, it'll get trashed. You won't see it anywhere. But in order to empty your trash, you have to find it on the phone's trash, not on the computer's trash, because taking it out of the cloud to trash it is taking it out of the drive. And then in the computer, it goes into your computer's trash, and the phone, it goes to your phone's trash. Does that make sense? It still gets trashed, and you will not have it anymore anywhere. So the function of trashing happens, but you won't go to your computer's trash to find the thing that you trashed on your phone. You'll have to go to your phone's trash because you're literally taking it out when you trash it. Does that make sense? Just the explanation? All right. So now let me, you guys go and find something to organize on your phone and see if you can do it. All right. So documents, Carol. Yeah, I see what you're.
All of those just popped in at once.
Remember that your last computer, I told you had some problems, that you had stuff that were apps in your documents.
Yeah,
That's the problem you had before. And then when you shared your screen last week,
it wasn't
they
there.
weren't there. And I'm like, okay, that's good. I'm wondering if something reorganized itself back to how you were having it. Now, let me request remote control for a second. Do you see a request there? Can you say yes to that?
Wait a minute. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so don't move your mouse. First of all, this Finder window is missing the sidebar, which makes it very hard to organize. And I'm going to go to View, Show Sidebar. Whew. Now I can kind of see better where things are and what's happening. Now let me go to your applications. And this is where your applications are supposed to be. And I see the Pages app there, 6th of July, 2025. When I go into your documents, I see a Pages documents that is a oh, this is a folder for it. And double click.
It created folders for all the apps.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Folder for movie. Yeah, it's weird. GarageBand. So it's not for all the app, it's only a few. Let me group by folders. I see all your folders. And then it's just those. Okay, so it's not all the apps, it's just a few. And they're just folders. That's all they are. Okay, your stuff is not on the cloud. And you know that, right? Your desktop and documents are not on the cloud?
They were.
Oh, no, they are. They are. Here they,
Oh,
yeah, they are. They are. Okay. Yeah, it's just that you have it. Yeah. I see what's, okay. So you guys, hold on. It's harder when I'm handling it by remote. Okay. So this document, you have something really weird going on because you have a desktop and documents app that's local and one that's on the cloud. It's like you have a double, you have something really, remember I told you I asked them to fix your system before you upgraded? Looks like.
yeah, they delayed it and they said, oh, we'll do it at the end. And then they didn't do anything. And it's been
Yeah,
a mess.
because you.
But today's the first day I had the problem. Again, you know.
So these are your cloud desktop and documents. And let me get icon and text. So all your stuff is in the cloud. But it's not showing up here. So this is your local desktop and documents, which you shouldn't have here. So this is really bizarre.
Strange, okay.
Okay, so I've never seen something like this, and I can only think that it was the mess that you had before, that when you recreated, it got.
I'll see if I can get Mac Mechanic to come out.
Is correct. Your desktop and documents are in the cloud. You can see here, they say that they're in the cloud. But you don't, you should be seeing that desktop should be here, right? That's your desktop. Instead, you have another folder called desktop and documents that are local, and that shouldn't be. They should be either there or here. These shouldn't be. So I don't know how it happened, but that's what I was seeing earlier on when I told you fix your computer and have them fix it. It was weird. So I'm just trying to make sure if I go to your drive. Ah, you don't. See how this is off? Okay, since you do have your stuff on the cloud, it's living in the cloud and it's not living in your computer. So this needs to be turned on. What's happened is all your stuff is in the, remember I told you that if at some point you turn the feature on and off, it defaults to being only in the cloud? That's what's happening to her. She doesn't see her desktop and documents on her computer. She sees them only in the cloud because somehow this one got turned off. So, and you already have it on, your stuff is there. So in fact, it's in the cloud and not in your computer. So I'm going to bring them back into your computer now. And so I will turn this on. This needs to stay on. And there you go. Got it. Show and find. Okay. So that's good. This is what needed to happen. Okay, good. Yay. I fixed it. Okay. Okay. And all of these need to go into your documents as well. And see how the
Okay,
desktop,
now it's looking like it
yeah, see how
did.
this desktop and documents here disappeared? That now is gone. Now your desktop and your documents are in the right place. And things are now where they should be. And this one and this one. Let me put this in the documents where it goes. Hold on, I'm just gonna fix two more things and then this one is nothing. And village should be in your documents. Well, you have a lot, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. You have a lot of stuff in your in there. Okay, now you're seeing this in a bigger format, so it's confusing. Okay. So now what you have is that you have a lot of stuff on the desktop that shouldn't be.
No, I had it gone. Shit,
No, we can move them right now into your,
that's all right. Some of that's old that wasn't on the desktop before. I was seeing only the current.
okay.
Like there's stuff from 2019 and all that. 2022.
Just moving it to your regular desktop so that we can get rid of these two, which are temporary. And I'm did that way it's easier to now fix it. Okay. So right now you basically have everything that you have here is on your desktop. Thus, when you look at your desktop right now, it's going to be full of stuff again. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Which isn't necessarily what we want. I can move them to your to your documents if that was your intention. But right now, this is how they showed up, all the stuff.
All right, so I should reorganize them. Is
Well,
that-
why don't I just put them in your documents? It's as simple as
Okay,
that. And
all
now
right.
your desktop is empty, and now everything is in your documents. You just need to organize your documents, okay? Now this is like a glitch, some kind of bizarre. So I'm concerned because this looks like this is stuff that should be inside of Word, the Word app. So don't get rid of that. Anyway, the rest is okay. All right, so now your stuff is correct. Now, meaning it's in the cloud and you don't have that weird thing that you had going on there. But I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that so that you don't make issues with that. And I'm gonna get your movies out of the way. And put these in your documents. Okay, and now we can move that out of the way. And this one out of the way. Okay. Oh, you have some balance sheets, reports in your music app. I'm gonna take them into the
Oh,
document.
those are old.
Well, you can decide if they're old or not. I'm not about to make
Yeah,
choices.
okay, I hear you. Yeah,
But I put everything in the right place and I took out of here the stuff that could be dangerous.
okay,
So I'm taking it out so you don't have to problem. And now you are clean. And now you still have to organize everything, but that's up to you. Okay,
okay, I'll do that.
sure. Okay, so the reason I helped her, guys, is because she had a really dangerous setup. It's not that she was organized or disorganized, but she had the setup in a way that she could really mess up her computer. She had system files and whatever, so I just grabbed it and did it because she went to the Mac mechanic and for some reason they didn't have time. I don't know, they didn't do it. And that could really mess her up. So I just did it for her. But that said, you still have to organize your stuff. You have a ton of folders, which is great, but that's an example. You saw how many folders she had in her organizer? But that's the kind of thing that I say you could probably make one folder called board meetings and 20 of those folders, put them into that one, right? So then it's all in there. Or you had the word village a bunch of times that I don't know what that is. We'll make a name called village all, and then grab all those folders called village and throw them into village all. And then by the time you do that, you can begin to get a handle on all those. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Just compress and compact.
Yeah,
Even
all
if
of those
you're-
village things have several documents under them. That's
Yeah,
okay.
so then put them all together into one folder called Village Everything, for example. And
Okay.
open that folder, then you'll have all your village folders, which when you open have files inside of them. Does that make sense? But
Yes.
they're not mixed with a bunch of other stuff. And then how do you find the village folder you're looking for? Just put them all in one thing called Village. Later, when you're talking about, city instead of village, you go to city, like you don't want to have all those loose folders in your documents. So if anyone organized their things in like 50 or more folders, I venture to say that you can probably compress them into 10 to 15. Does that make sense? Main folders for the things that you do. Some people 5, depends on what you're at. All right, Diane.
Thank you. I'll make a donation.
Let me, Diane and Julie, give me a second. I need to look at how we're doing with time because I set up my alarms correctly, I thought, but I have a feel, oh no, it's okay. We're still not at break time. I thought, am I going past it? No. All right, Diane, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I went to my iCloud and it says save to iCloud, has photos, drive, passwords, notes, messages. And it's-
Stop. What are you share your screen if you're gonna read a list of things, or what's the question? Because I'm not sure where you're at. Oh.
I need to know if I should set
Second,
up.
guys, my mom's phone is ringing and she needs it and it's far from her. One second. Ya te lo traigo, pero no sé dónde está tu teléfono. Hola. No sé qué teléfono está. Ya no había nadie. ¿Dónde está el teléfono? No sé qué no sé. Okay. Sorry, guys. My mom's phone was ringing and she couldn't find it, and so it kept ringing and ringing and ringing, and so I had to go bring her the phone. All right, so, oh, Diane, you haven't shared your screen yet. Can you share your screen, please, so that I can help you?
Where is the share button again?
There where you raised your hand, right
Right.
to the left of where you raised your hand, it should say share.
To the left of where I raised my hand.
Well, maybe you have it to the right, but if not, you might have it under more. In the same area where you mute or unmute yourself or where you raise your hand, all those little buttons, do you see them? Tell me what you read there. Tell me the names of what you're seeing and I'll see if one of those is your
I
share.
see more.
Okay, if you see more, click on
Oh, I
more.
see share.
Shares in there, okay? All right. Okay. All right. So now now ask me your question. Now that I'm seeing it, it makes more sense.
Okay, so I'm in the iCloud. So do I want to set up my mail in iCloud?
No, I mean, you can or you can't, but that's a whole different conversation. It isn't meaning you can, and I have iCloud mails, for example, but do you need a new iCloud address, for example? Is that what you're asking, or?
No, I just wondered if all my mail is going to go to the iCloud.
No, and in fact, next week when we start with Mac Level 1, we're going to actually delve into what's up with mail and what happens with mail and all that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
so that portion there, we'll talk about next week. Right now, what we're talking about is the drive here. The drive
Okay.
is what holds files. So go ahead and double click on that just so I can just see where you're at for a second. Double click. So this just is to prove, yeah, your desktop and documents are going to the cloud and you should have seen them on your phone, so everything is good. Okay, so then say done. But in fact, you guys, when you go to this window, see how it says which apps that store documents and data are being synced, and she has 9 apps that store documents and data that are going to the cloud. If you want to click on that to see which ones they are. Your mouse is way up there, so I'm not sure we're looking at the same thing. I'm pointing down here. Yeah. So it says app syncing to the iCloud Drive. Yeah. So guys, look, these are the apps that automatically sync to the iCloud Drive. Now, one of them, it's not automatic actually, you have to turn it on, is the photos. She has it on. Do not change any of these ons and offs. That's a bit what happened with Carol. There were some ons and offs that went back and forth, and so things got lost. So these are things that goes straight there, including mail. So she's asking, well, should I have mail in the cloud? The only mail that you can have in the cloud, not on your computer and your phone, you can have mails from any company. But the only mail that you can see in the iCloud Drive, it's Apple Mail. Okay. So
Okay.
has somebody talking in the background and I don't know who it is, and it would be really nice if you have someone talking in the background if you were to mute yourself, unless it's Diane, in which case that's fine because you're unmuted.
It's not.
So then this is so important. Okay, guys, someone has a group of people talking or something, or maybe you have the TV on, but please mute yourself because I can't tell where it's coming from. Okay. All right. How can I hear it and not you guys? Never mind. I'm gonna mute everyone for a second. Everyone is muted now. Everyone. So if you need to talk to me, you need to mute yourself because I didn't know where it was coming from and it was bugging me. So now, what I was trying to say, and this is part today and part next class, is that the Mac OS apps that go into the cloud will appear here. And so when mail appears here, just so you know, if you take all your stuff to the cloud, all your files on your whatever, on your computer, you can see mails at Gmail and AOL, any brand mail. On your phone, you can see any brand mail. But on the cloud, that one place that I said remember, from your computer to the cloud and from the cloud to your phone, right? This cloud is only Apple Mail because it's the mail that arrives to Apple Mail. So I, for example, have a personal email that's Apple, it's me.com. I also have a personal mail that's iCloud.com. Another one that's Mac.com. Those are different names of Apple mails. If my computer and my phone die and I go to iCloud, I will only see the email from iCloud. As much as if I go to the Gmail online, I will only see Gmail email. And if I go to Yahoo, I will see Yahoo email. When you go to the cloud itself, you only see mail from each individual company. Does that make sense? So if you have Gmail email, you can see it from your phone in the mail app. You can see it from your computer in the mail app. But in the cloud portion that has a lock, you will only see mail from the Apple app. Now, if this wasn't clear, don't worry, we're going to talk about mail ad nauseum. But what I want you to do between here and Tuesday, make a list of all the emails you own. And you're like, what do you mean? Yeah, you might think you only own one. Just for sure, I know you own two because you have your personal one and your pipeline is already an email that you own. You might have an old one that you never got rid of that you owned. You might have 2 or 3 or 5 because you work, you know, maybe you're a volunteer at a company, but you're such a volunteer that you've been given an email from them. Maybe you work at another company and you have an email from them. So you might have 3, 4, 5 emails. And consistently, there's some people who have 1 email. Well, 2. Minimum you have is 2, school and personal. And then consistently, people that are in this class, I discover, end up having 5 or 6 emails. So make a list of what they are. And most importantly, especially if they're old, find out their passwords. Because if you want to be able to see them all at once, you're going to need to know the passwords of your emails to be able to see them all at once on your computer or on your phone. And just ruminate on that. And then when we get to next week, I'll actually begin to explain and talk about it. But if those of you who go, oh yeah, I have other emails, maybe go ahead and see if you can find out what those passwords for those emails are and write them down, okay? And then I'll explain more about that mail that Diane just asked about, because it's more to do with everything. It's all the apps that I'll be teaching next week. All right, Julie?
Just a quick question. When you were helping Carol, let me show my finder. You moved her name from the list on the left off. I thought mine was off, but I see locations, Julie's MacBook. Is that supposed to be there?
You can have it on or off, but I'm happy to have it off. It's the same as before. If you click on it and you see like your system files and stuff, it could be dangerous, so you might as well move it off.
Why did it come back on? Because I thought last
Oh,
week or
it's
the week
different.
before.
You had the house on, and what I moved was her house. I didn't move her. So you know what, locations, leave it there. It's actually it's in locations, it's different. She had it in her favorites and you had it in your favorites before, and you had the little house icon, and that's what I removed of hers. I didn't remove her location. If you have
Oh, okay.
locations for now, just leave it there. I don't want to.
Okay.
It's fine. Just don't click.
Okay.
If it's
Thank
gone,
you.
it'll be fine. You can also not have it there and it'll be fine. Just don't use it.
Okay. Thank you.
Michelle?
Yeah, this question is from a couple weeks ago or a couple classes ago. I can't, when I'm just sitting here trying to organize and I can't move the document into the folder because it's off the screen. You know, it's like above, like it's all the way down there and it just won't, I can't.
Your screen?
I can only, like, if I'll share my screen, I'll show you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
Like,
sometimes things are so off and I can find you a plan B of how to get to it.
well, it's like, it could be just,
Just
are
share
you
your
seeing
screen and
this?
then no, you're not sharing yet.
I'm not sharing yet. Okay.
Share and then share again.
Where's the share button here? Oh, there. Oh, share. Okay, so I'm in the documents and I'm down here, right? Let's say I got to my lesson here. I move it up. I can't move it up anywhere else. It goes off the page.
Stop you for a minute. There's two solutions to that, and one is the one I gave this morning for when you're organizing.
Hmm.
I highly recommend putting all of these loose things in a folder called to organize. And
I
then-
know, but that's going to be up here too.
Yeah, so it'll be much easier. Let me just show you what I mean, and then you can undo that if you don't want. So is that untitled folder empty, for example? Or does it
Yeah.
have? Okay, and you know that when you open it like that, by double clicking, you leave the main page. So for now, while we're organizing, let's not double click to open, let's use that little arrow so that it pulls down. And then you get to see that there's nothing in it. Does that make sense? Okay, so now what I'm gonna have you do is select your American Bald Eagle, that's the first thing. Now scroll all the way to the bottom. No, don't drag it. Just select it and now just scroll to the bottom. Like, no. Sorry. Let me explain clearly. Let go of that one. It's not about American Bald Eagle. You just needed to select it. Now, I need you to like gently, 2 fingers up to just scroll because I want to go. Yes, there we go. All the way to the bottom. Bottom. Perfect. Now hold down your shift key. And now click on the last one, Zoom 17. Good. Now, scroll all the way to the top again. Good. Now, grab that first one and drop them all into the Untitled folder. So go click on American Bald Eagle and drop them into the Untitled folder. Yeah, there. Oop, one down. No. Yeah, one down. Untitled folder, one down.
Oh,
Let go. Perfect. Now you've put them all in one there in the folder. Okay, good. Now,
okay. So there really isn't anything you can do about that.
yeah, hold, please I'm setting you up. So
Okay.
now scroll up again so that we can see the folder you put them into. And close it up for a second, just like that little arrow. Okay. Now we know it's called Untitled folder. You could rename it, but now go to your views and choose to view as columns. And if you guys, at the very beginning of the class, this is what I was explaining. So this is another instance of doing the exact same thing, and I recommend it to everyone. Okay, now click on your Untitled folder, which has all those files that you didn't know how to get. Okay, now go to that birch trees or whatever it was that you were showing me that was way down there. One of the ones that was way down there, and now drag it to the right place. Art lessons, whatever. See how they're much closer.
Okay.
Okay, now go find the lowest, so whatever you have in here in the Untitled folder, which you should right click and rename again, you can go now to the bottommost one, which would have been really far away. Scroll. Yeah, and now if you
I didn't know where to put a Zoom package.
Yeah,
or-
that is a trash that one.
Okay.
The package gets trashed. Okay. Now choose one of these. What I'm saying is no matter how far or how up.
Okay. I
I
got it. I was doing that for a second and
before you forget, because sometimes Untitled folders we think are empty. It has all your stuff now. So I would recommend clicking and calling it all, like what I said earlier, to be organized or something, right?
Okay, right.
And then it'll be parallel to all the other folders. And now you just drag until you're done.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's why I was like, hold on, it takes some steps.
Yeah.
Just and then you can work off of one or the other view, it doesn't matter. But for organizing, the columns view is better for
Column view.
knowing and finding out what information you have about the file. The list view is better. So I use both, and depending on what I'm doing, I use one or the other version. All right, cool.
Okay.
Did that make sense to everyone? When I explained it earlier, I explained it without just myself. But now we had someone with that problem, so I explained it again, so somehow it becomes more hands-on because you're having that problem, right? So Michelle got it. Did everyone else get it? Like creating that parallel feature, all that loose stuff that's hard to, how do I move it all the way there? Just put it in a folder that then you can see side by side. It is just much easier. It's a solution to that. It's a trick if you want, I don't know, but it's a workaround and now it works. All right, Denise.
Yeah, when you were teaching, I forgot who about this cloud and the apps, and I checked how many apps I had in the cloud, and I have 18 of them. Should I just leave them? So now I unclick the, yeah, so
Don't unclick anything. Be careful with clicking and unclicking things because then things start to disconnect. It's like, don't.
Yeah,
It's
don't unclick.
you just go there and you see you have 18, you can see which ones they are. And then next week, when we start talking about all the apps and the cloud and whatever, we'll explore which ones, for the most part, unless there's a reason why you don't want something in the cloud, there's no need to unclick them. It's just the list of what's on the cloud. She had 9, you have 18, and we'll look at those lists next week and start going, oh, okay. I mean, is there any one of them that makes no sense to you as to why it's there? It's just cloud apps. This just comes on your phone and comes on your computer. And by default,
Yeah.
if you don't touch or change anything, and your phones and your Macs are relatively new, so the people who kind of just
Mhm.
started owning all these devices, they're all set by default to connect. It's the
Yeah.
people who had things from forever that
Uh,
they upgrade, and the choices from the past were don't put things in the cloud because it didn't even exist, that at some point you make the choice. So you know what? Now I'm willing to put in the cloud that you need to turn it on. But other than that, if you buy a computer now and it's your first computer, by default it comes in on, and you have to do the other thing. You have to go, no, I'd prefer it not to be on, and you have to turn it off. But in the past, old computers were off and you need to choose to turn them on. So there's people who have different settings. And so we're going to equalize settings next week to your preference. Some of you might prefer to keep your things on, some off. It's your choice, but I'll show you. What you need to have is that on your phone and on your computer system settings, you need to be parallel. If you want your clouds documents to be on the cloud, then they have to be turned on phone. And I keep saying phone, but same with iPad. They need to have that feature turned on the phone, on the iPad, and on the cloud. If you don't want them on, then you have to have that feature turned off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That way, either they talk or they don't talk. The problem is when some people go, well, it's on my phone, and how come I'm not seeing it on my computer? And you go and see that, well, they didn't have it on your computer, or vice versa, right? So you just need it to open the channels, right? So that it flows through. Or not, or close the channels and say, don't flow through, but it needs to make sense, right? All right. So guys,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So, before we move on, to another app that I want to show you, we're going to go on break and I'm going to show you a different app that is about organizing. I want to know how you're doing with your organization. If you feel that your files are 100% organized, raise your hand. I am expect only a few of you will be able to do that, or people who had very few files. Then raise your hand. If you feel like you're fine, you're good, you just need to get, working with it, but you're definitely, you just need to sit down and do it. Give me a yes, because you have maybe 50 files left. If you're still at like, I got 2,000, 3,000 files left and I don't even know where to go, give me a no. And then I can help you do some of this things like I just did with Michelle, a way to make things easier, because it's overwhelming when you have a ton of stuff and it doesn't fit because it's down there, it's up there, so we can do a little bit of what I kind of did with Michelle, and I can do it hands-on for you. All right, so yeah, life is good, I'm done. That's a yes. All right, good job for those of you who raised your hands. And or good job because you just didn't have enough files, so you did it quickly, not that you're better than the rest. And then yes, you're all on the way to there. Okay, most of you are saying yes. And then no means nope, not good enough. Okay, so Patricia, how can I help you?
I have a lot of files, but this is documents are perfect, downloads are perfect. I just need to organize my drives. But I'm started it, so
okay,
maybe I have a quarter done, but I'm looking at each file, I'm dumping stuff, I'm cleaning.
right. Well, that's good news, because although you have a lot of work ahead of you, you're clear on what you're doing and you're moving forward. And guys, she has all these extra drives, which we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. What if you don't have enough space on your computer for their files? It's not about putting them in the cloud or not. It's just that your computer just doesn't hold that much stuff. She has a lot of imagery photos. She makes photo books and stuff like that. Then you can buy, like, you buy a little like trailer to put next to your house when you're, how do you call it? When I was remodeling my house, I had to put all my stuff somewhere. We got one of those little what are they called? Pods or whatever. It's like a little trailer that they dump in your driveway and you put all your stuff in there for a while. Basically, it's a separate place that holds your stuff. It's not that it's both places. It's not like the cloud where you have it on the cloud and then it's actually a different place, right? That's like having an external hard drive that has more stuff that just doesn't fit in your computer. So that's not the same as the cloud or anything else. It's just another place. I mean, how many of you guys own a storage container somewhere that you pay monthly to hold stuff? That's the example, right? You need more space. Your house isn't big enough. Either to suffer because you downsized or because of whatever, you don't have enough space in your house, so you have another place that stores. That's what Patricia has. She has external hard drives to hold the rest of her stuff, okay? Now that doesn't go into the cloud. So that's a separate thing. And for people who have that situation where you just need more space, next class we're going to be talking about doing backups and stuff. That's going to be backups of what's on your computer, but not about what's on more space. So then we'll talk about needing extra drives to download, to back up those drives and stuff, because you don't want to lose those. If those are all your photos and you lose those, how do you lose a drive? Well, they stop working. It's on your house. It's not like you're going to lose it from your desktop, but you lose it because it stops working. Then you need a backup to that drive to have it not lose all your photos, okay? So that's all the backup conversation that's coming up next class. So now, looks like that's the only person who had trouble. The rest of you guys are on the way. So, you're taking your time or it's happening. So I feel like it's mission accomplished for organization. I want to, the last question I want before we go on our break is, those of you who I told you to put stuff from the desktop on to your documents, and there was some resistance, and I'm pretty sure there's still some people who have them. Do you feel that with what I've shown you, you now know where to find your stuff, or do you still want another solution? Do you want me to go over the aliases on the desktop again, or dragging them onto the Finder again? I can give you a bit more of a hand, because I said, put them on the documents, put them on the documents. I'll show you how to find this stuff. But then we only did it once or twice, and sometimes people need more repetition of that. So if you need more ideas of all the stuff you put in the documents, I want to find it easier. I would like to put this more handy. There's one more trick I haven't taught you yet that I'm going to teach you after break. If so, I want you to give me a yes, like give me a yes. I want another idea of how to get to my stuff. Okay, so it's not a hands up. It's more like a, yeah, I need help finding all those things that you made me take off my desktop and I still can't get to them easily. Like that kind of like, ugh, I wish I hadn't done it. Or those of you who are like, well, I haven't done it yet because I don't think it'll work. Give me a yes. Okay. Meaning when we come back from break, we're gonna explore a bit more. Well, yeah, you told me to put it there, but I don't really know how to find them easily. So that's the question I'm asking. Give me a yes if you want some more answers to that, okay? And then Barbara, is that a question? Let me see if I can answer it after or before. What's your question?
I opened recent.
Oh, yeah, recents is a different conversation. We'll have that after break, but I need
Okay.
need
Great.
a pen, but I don't see right now. Anyway, can someone take a note, please? And then when I come back, because I don't see a pen, I don't know where my mom has her pens. I'm pretty sure I'd seen one before. Can someone take a note and say recents, just write down the word recents, and then just write down the word desktop. And so find desktop kind of thing. And then when I come back, remind me that I said I'd show you that after break.
Or desktop. I got the note.
All right. Okay, so somebody figure out 15 minutes for me, please. What time is it in Santa Barbara?
11:09.
Okay, let's say it's 11:10. So that's 25, right? Be back at 11:25
Yep.
Yes.
AM. All right. See you guys at 11:25. Hi there. We're back. Glasses on. Okay. So I made a mistake of working through the break, which is never a good idea because I didn't get a break, but oh well. I need to remind myself to get up and move. But I had these emails that I had to answer, and next thing you know, 15 minutes have gone by. So hopefully you guys had a better break than me. And let's keep going. So I
have Recent's desktop for a note.
Resense and desktop and the other app that I want to show you. So we have a list of things that I want us to do. The let me share my screen. Here we go. Okay, so the Finder window, which has been what we've been using. So again, click on this guide to open a Finder window. Defaults, right, to the word recents. What does it mean? When you open it, it's selected in recents. That's what it does. It's always in recents. Now, that's what I mean by defaults. It's like you can change that if you want, and I can't because I teach stuff and I have to show people what the settings are. But you can have it always default to documents. So when you open the Finder window, you're already looking at your documents. Does that make sense? So if that's what you want to do, so once again, what do I mean? When I open my Finder window, it's showing me recents. That's based on the fact that for a lot of time, people didn't know how to find their stuff. So recents isn't a place, it's a sub-selection. It's basically, it's set at date last opened. So this is the file that I opened last. This is the next, this is on and so forth. All of these files looks like I opened them yesterday. Then this one I opened on the 22nd, and so on and so forth. But if I look in my path bar, each one of these lives in a different place. This one lives in my do not remove files documents. This one lives in that same do not remove documents. This one lives in my pastries, breakfast, new recipes documents. This one lives in my downloads as BCC teacher. This one lives in my downloads as well, right? So down here, this list is based on when I opened it last, not based on where I find them, versus everything else that's here is based on where you find them. This is based on whatever I have in my documents. This one is based on whatever I have in my desktop. This one is based on whatever I have in my downloads. This is the only one that doesn't take you to a place. It takes you to a selection of show me the files in order of when I last used them. If that makes sense to you, if like you get what I'm saying by what Recents is doing, then give me a yes. It's not a duplicate. That file, if I go to Illustrator Downloads SBC Teacher, let me see, let me go to Downloads. Yeah, there it is. It's that same file. Okay, these are the videos of yesterday. So if we go to Recents here, so we can see the names. And I say Illustrator 2025. These are the recordings of yesterday's classes. And in fact, the day before yesterday's classes. If I go to where they say they are, which is in the downloads, yeah, I go to my downloads folder and there they are. It's not like I have them twice. This is just a pointer to the files. This points to that file. Does that make sense, you guys?
Mhm.
The concept is what I matter. That it's not that I have that file in Recents and in downloads. So can I, typical question. So if I delete it from Recents, can I make space on my computer? No, if you delete this one from here, you're deleting it from there. And this is so important, so important. This is not a separate file. It's just showing it to you in a different way. Okay? It's like if you can see something in two different ways. So here is where they are stored. Here I'm truly opening the closet, opening the drawer and looking at here's where you are. Okay? But imagine in real life, we could have our closet closed and we said, oh, I want to wear the outfit that I wore last week, but I don't know where I put it. And I could go to Recents and look at last week and I'll click on it and go, oh, there it is. Oh, it's in the third drawer to the right. It's just that. Does that make sense? It just tells me where it is. That said, if I want to open it, I can open it from here. So this is my recording of last week. It's in Recents. And so when I go into downloads, it told me that it was here. There it is. So if I want to see it, I could just do the quick look thing, which is my space bar. And here it is. This is me, not last week, on Tuesday.
But if that
This
was
is my
new,
recording
was-
of Tuesday's class, right? It's in my downloads folder because I download it from the internet and then I upload it to YouTube and then I get rid of it. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. But if I go to Recents, I see the exact same thing there. But it's not a duplicate. It's just a pointer for me to see that's where it is. But guess what? I can open it from here as well if I want. If I don't want to go to the downloads, I can from here and there it is. So I can open it from either place, but it's one file. So 1.2 gigabytes is the only space taken in my computer by this video. It's not 1.2 gigabytes plus 1.2 gigabytes. So if I get rid of one, I make space. Does that make sense, you guys? If you're clear on that one, give me a yes. If you need some more clarification, this is such a crucial piece of information that I really need you guys to understand it. It's just a pointer to where it really lives, the Recents. Organized in order of when I opened it last. By the way, I can reorganize it differently. I could go to Recents and reorganize it by name. Then what's the point of it, right? Because now I have a bunch of files that are messed up and they're organized by mess. So the only point of this one is that they've frozen space an organization of date last opened. That's it. Okay. So I'm seeing yeses from everywhere except for Barbara, who originally asked the question. So it looks like there is a need for more clarification. So yes. Oh, wait, one last thing before I go and say anything. So when you look at the Recents and you look at the bottom, in my case, it's a humongous number. It's 1,800 files. And I think someone else once at the beginning, when I first explained this a few weeks ago, had said, oh, I see 7,000 things in there. I think it was you, Denise. It's like, yeah, because ever since I purchased this computer, this list has been connected. So I might, if I go down, 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 it looks like I opened this one in 2012, 2015, 2016, 2018, 2020. So, but that file still exists. Where does it exist? It exists in my Dots Flowers Student Works 2020 Illustrator, Downloads, Illustrator, All Class Temporary Resources, Shared Drives, Google Drive. If I go find that folder, that's where I hope to go find it. So it's just in order of when I opened it last. And I might have put files in my computer from some other computer that I've never opened in this computer. So then they don't show up here. But as long as I have opened it at some point in 11/20/23, I opened this file, it'll be there. Does that make sense? But it doesn't matter. It's just an order of, it's just a list in order of when I opened it last. Now this is March 2025. Where is that file? It's in da 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 da. So down there, I find where these things are. How about this one? I look, it looks like I have it in there until I get to the newest ones. And where is it at? That's where it is. So that's why it says 1,800. Even if when I go to my documents, it says only 16 items. Well, why does it say 16 items? I have many more than 16 items. It's because right now it's just reading my folders. And no matter if I view it in this direction or if I view it in this direction, I have 16 items right now, but I know there's a lot more in there. So watch, if I open this one, now it'll say 17 because I opened that one. If I open travel, now it says 21. But if I open, say, items to be organized, where I have a lot of stuff in there, now it says I have 49. It's adding the folders and the stuff. So these numbers are kind of relative because if I just close it and I go down to 21 or I open it and I have 41, 9, it's just what am I viewing? What am I viewing in this place? I'm viewing 49 files. If I collapse it, now I am viewing 21 files. If I collapse that one, now I'm viewing 17. If I collapse that one, I'm viewing 16. Does that make sense? But that's all this is. And when I go to recents, I have a list of all the last 1,800 things that I've ever opened. And that's it. They're organized by date. So for those of you who had a huge number there, scroll down and you'll see that they'll go down to a lot of years from now. And if you delete this file here from, let me go all the way down. If I delete this file from 2023 to get less stuff in my computer, that's what's going to happen. This file will be deleted from the folder called Illustrator Screenshots for Class, Downloads, Illustrator, All Classes Temporary Shared Drives. That's all the folders it's into from my Google Drive. It'll delete from there. Does that make sense? So if I delete it from here, or from here, or from here, you're still deleting one file. It's not like you should delete these to make space for the ones in there. No, 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 no. The ones in here are truly in there. Did that make sense now, Barbara? Now, if not, or if you still have questions, please ask.
So the reasons I have no idea where they're at. I have 2,285 reasons.
Yeah. So recents, you can get rid of recents and no one will think twice about it if you don't use it. For some people, that's the only way they find their stuff because they have no idea where they put their stuff.
Well,
So
it doesn't tell me where it went. Well, it does sort of.
select it and down the path tells you where.
It's in one of my external hard drives, catalog, and then Lindo Lake.
Yeah. So
I'm
that's all
looking at
it
a picture of my grandson. When
Yeah,
I go to San
all it
Diego,
means is that the date here, you open that file. Whatever date it says here, you open that file that's in the lake. And if you want to know where it is, look at the path. That's all
Right.
it is. Now, if you know where your stuff is, if you're one of the ones who doesn't need it, just drag it out. You never need the recents. Now, again, a lot of people, when this didn't exist, because it didn't exist till about, I don't know, 3 years ago or 4 years ago, it began to exist. Before, people had to go to the desktop to find their files. It's not there. I wonder if it's here. No, it's not there. I wonder if it's here. No, it's not there. Ah, where's my stuff? So they created this recents for people who don't know where their stuff is, but know they opened it last week. So then you go, last week. Oh, there it is. Because they have no idea where they put it. Is that clear? So it's just a way to find them. But if you know where your stuff is, you can get rid of it. It doesn't add or take away anything. If it's not useful for it, why have it? Like I always say, if something on the dock is not useful for you, then move it out of the way. Why? Because guess what? You go to your applications and you'll find it again, right? So I'm not telling you to delete the app from the computer. I'm telling you, remove the shortcut. And guess what this is?
can you open something from recents?
What? Yeah,
Can
can
you
you open something? Of course.
Like highlight it and right click and say open?
I don't know where my chocolate chip muffin is. This is the one I made the other day in class. If I don't know where I saved it, it's like, oh God, where did I put it? I don't know where it is. Not only can I see where I put it, but I can also just double click it from right here. And guess what? My pages file begins to open and here it is. There's my chocolate chip muffin and I can open it. Oh God, I'm so glad it opened because I didn't know where I had put it. Oh, good. I can still make my chocolate chip muffins. Good. I'm going to close the file. And guess what? In my recents, that used to be down here. Now it's at the top. Why? Because I just opened it.
So if it's on an external hard drive that's still plugged in, if I double click it, will it take
It'll
me
open
to that
from there,
external
yeah.
hard drive?
Yeah. This thing down here is pointing to some things that are in my Google Drive, but that's a long story why, but it's an it's an external drive. And yeah, I can open it from there. Doesn't matter where, as long
Oh,
as
cool. I can find all these pictures of my grandson. He was just a little kid and I'd put the bikes, I had a bike rack and I'd put the bikes on the bike rack and we'd go to Lindo Lake. And there's a bike path and we'd ride round and around. He
Yeah,
loved
how do you know where they are? Because at some point you open them. And if you had lost them, now you know by looking at this, you know where they are. But if you want to open it, you can just double click from here and it'll open. So great. Denise, so does everyone clear on the recents? It's not a particular place. It's just a way to find things based on when you open them, but it isn't a copy of your file. It's just showing it to
Barb,
you in
it
a
says-
different organization. All right.
Well, it says to Barb in the thing. Okay, it's iCloud Drive, documents, desktop folders, Barb's catalog, clouds, and then blah 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 JPEG.
Yeah, there you go. So if you were to go follow
So-
that path, you'd find that photo, or you can just double click and open it from here.
Oh, it did. That's awesome.
Cool.
So it found it in an external in one of my external hard drives that's plugged in.
It doesn't matter where, wherever it is, it knows where it is.
Awesome.
If you forgot where you organize something, some of you made the chocolate chip muffin or whatever files that we created the other day, the 4 cheese omelets. Here it is. It's there in 722. I made the chocolate chip muffin the same day, last class on 722, but since I just opened it, now they're not together, even though I made them at the same time. Now it's up here. Why? Because now I opened it today. But omelets I haven't opened yet, so I'm going to open it right now. Let me just double click on this one that I made 2 days ago. I'm going to open it from here instead of from where I stored it. There we go. I opened it. That's all I needed to do. For now, it's at the top of the list. See? All it cared is about when it was open. It's still in the same place. It just got opened today, so now it says date last opened today. So it went from here where it was before I opened it, it went to there. Because now it's the last thing I opened, and the chocolate chip muffin is the second to last thing I opened, so it's second down the list. It hasn't moved from place, it's still in the same place, and if I remember that I put it in my documents, in my new recipes, in my breakfast, in my omelet, yep, there it is. And how about pastries? Yep, there they were. They are in the right place.
I'm watching your path change as you move.
Click
and
around,
highlight stuff.
tells me where it is.
Yeah.
Sense just told me where it is down there.
Thank you.
And I opened it.
I forgot
Okay,
all about that.
So that's recents, you guys. For some people, really useful. For some people, superfluous. I never, ever, ever, ever in my life use it. Why? Because I know exactly where I put stuff. In my real life, like not in my computer, but in my real, I would love to have a recents. Like, where did I leave my keys? Let me go check my recents file. Oh, it looks like I left it inside of the left shoe, inside of the bag. Oh, I'm so glad. Like, I would love this thing to be real, right? But in my computer, because I can't just look for stuff by opening drawers, I am organized. And thus, I don't need my recents. But so it's your choice whether you use it or not. But it's not a place. Now, if I delete this one from here, it will delete from there. Okay? Because it's the same file. It's just showing it to you under an organization of when you last opened. So if I right click and delete my 4 cheese omelet, I move it to the trash. When I go to my documents, recipes, oh, it's gone. It's not there anymore. And I didn't delete it from here, I deleted it from recent. So it's just as, and it's not, and it's not on the list of date last opened either. Now I'm going to Command Z to undo that movement so that it's back. And now I have the Portuguese omelet again, that's taken out of the trash. But now it's not on the recents list because it lost its priority. I would have to open it again from here. Good. Now that I've opened it again, if I go to my recents, there it is again. It's showing up as just recently opened. All right. Denise.
Yeah, I think what you just said is a problem for me. So a few lessons ago, it was the first you were talking about recent, and if you remember, I raised my hand at the time. So I never go to recent. So at the time I had 10,000 recents. So I put them all in the trash.
Oh God. I
So
told you
yeah.
that day
So
I said, I will explain recents later. Don't trash them.
well, I just your last phrase made me worried. So that means all the 10,000 I put in the trash are also gone from all the files they were sitting in.
Oh yeah, because those are the real
Wow.
files. So go to your trash. Hopefully you didn't empty your trash yet.
Yes, I did.
Oh, well, they're gone then. Sorry, you guys, but when I say don't do that, please don't do that. They're gone. If you emptied your
I-
trash, they're gone. That's gone.
I have my trash, but I have only 33 items, so.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, I can get them from my oh, you know, my
Have a
my
time machine.
yeah.
Okay, so guys,
Mhm.
thank you. And everyone pay attention, perk up your ears. Denise has taken my class before. Denise made a time machine backup. Next class, we're going to learn about that. She made a big mess up. She deleted stuff and emptied her trash. Guess what? That's exactly what time machine is for. She can go to her time machine backup, and we'll bring this up again as an example, Denise, but she can go to her time machine backup of 3 weeks ago, whenever she first asked that question, the day she emptied her trash, she can go one day ahead of that, and all her files will be in her time machine. That's why it's called time machine. She can go back in time and she can recover the files that she lost. Had she not had a time machine, even those of you who have a cloud, the cloud, if you deleted it, deletes. It doesn't matter. The cloud is not a backup. If I delete it here, it deletes from the cloud, it deletes from my phone. A backup is what she has, which is a time machine, where she can now go look at the dates before this class started, before she asked that question, and she can go back and she'll go to the same folder and she will have all the stuff that she deleted by mistake. So if there was any a better example of why to have a time machine, this is the perfect one. Okay?
So I have my time machine, but how in the world am I gonna recover that?
All right. So let me look at the time left in this class. If I have time, I
Yeah.
can show it to you and it would be good for everyone to see it. But I'm not sure that I'll have the time, because given everything else I need to teach. But since next week starts the class where I deal with time machines, then I can show it to you at that point. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Because so in my time machine, I would have to look for the file that says recent.
Well, in your time machine, you first will, let me, okay, guys, I will explain it better next week. So this is a quick
Okay.
20-second answer and then I'll move on. You have to open your time machine, go back to the date before you asked me that question. So it'd probably be before the beginning of all these classes. I don't know when you asked me that question. I think it was before, I think you asked me during the beginning of Mac level 1, or maybe you asked me during Intro to the Mac. Go to that date, and that date, if you go to the recents, you should see the recents from that time. But right now, I will demo it in person next week. If you haven't fixed it yet, then I will use next Tuesday. We will talk about time machines because I'll be telling people to buy their hard drives and stuff. And then I will use your example if you haven't done it by then yourself. Okay?
Okay. So just one question. When if by any chance I find that thing, when I go back to recent and restore that recent, will the file be back in their original file? If it was a file from document, will go back in document, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Unless you've changed the organization so much that it doesn't find it, in which case it'll
No.
defaults to general document. I don't know where it defaults to. Like if it used to be in a folder called recipes and you got rid of that folder, it'll go, "Huh, where do I go now?" So then I think it defaults to just dropping itself in the general documents or something like that. Yeah. So, okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So Colette. Oh, you had your hand up, but you just stepped out. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can. Okay. I can't hear you though. You're muted.
Did you ask me one last question?
No, Colette. I called
Oh,
Colette.
sorry.
Hi. Okay, so in my iCloud Drive, I have some things called app library. For example, I have in the iCloud Drive a Pages app library. And I just took everything that was in that, which was just Pages files, and put them in my documents. Do I need to keep that app library?
Yeah, it's still what the app uses. So yeah, keep it there.
Okay, so that's it. I have several of those, but okay, that's it.
Created by the
Thank
app,
you.
and they'll use it for something or other and just leave it there. Yeah.
Leave them there. Okay.
That's great. Okay, I'm seeing lots of yeses everywhere else. No more questions, so I will move forward. Oh, and usually answer questions. I don't usually keep sharing so that you can see me, but okay. I'm still sharing, so there we go. All right, so that's the recents. Now, let me clarify one more thing about the recents, which is, and let me just show the recents only instead of my whole screen. If I were to now look at this list, and I don't care when they were last open, but I want to see them by kind, and I click on the word kind, then I might as well go ahead and right click on this and change this to the word kind. This is just a version of sorting. It's sorting by name, it's sorting by size, it's sorting by kind, it's sorting by date last open. I have 18,000 items and they're being sorted in a different way. Sorted by size, sorted by kind, sorted by this last open. It's just that Apple froze in time by giving it a name here, the sorted by dates last open. Does that make sense? So that's all this is. It's a sorting of the stuff based on dates last open. That's all. Okay. But that stuff is where it is. And the reason I don't explain recents until the end, I mentioned it when someone asked me at the beginning, when I mentioned it is, I usually say, it's hard to explain recents until you understand all these different places and how to store things, because when I explain recents before you have that understanding, then it just doesn't click, like it doesn't make sense. What do you mean? You see it here and you see it there. So once you understand about that's where things are and this is where they get hold, and once you understand what I'm showing you, then I explain recents, right? So hopefully next time if someone asks me, I will be much more forceful. I know Yolanda always asks me this one and I always say no. And I remember your question, Denise, and I am very clear, and I'm not trying to blame you or blame me, but I do know that one thing I always say is don't get rid of them. If you get rid of them, you will lose everything. Next time, I will underline that with red and fire, like, because maybe I didn't say it strongly enough, or maybe the voice was crackly or something, because no, do not get rid of things from here, guys. For everyone else who is still on the doubtful, if you get rid of things from here, they will be gotten rid of from where they belong and they will be gone. If you put these in the trash, they are now in the trash. If you empty your trash, they are gone and lost forever, unless, yay, Denise had a time machine and we will be able to fix her problem. Okay? But those of you who don't have a time machine, you're stuck. But I mainly am repeating these, not to underline a mistake, but to underline that the iCloud is not a backup. Because when I start talking about backups, people go, well, it's okay if I lose it in my computer because I have it on the phone. I've said that so many times to you guys. If you lose your computer because it dies, it's on your phone. If you lose it from your phone, it's okay because it's on your computer. If you lose your phone on your computer, it's okay, it's on the cloud. I've said that so many times, right? But that's the device. If you lose your device phone, the files are on the cloud. If you lose your device laptop, the files are on the cloud. But if you lose the files, they're gone from everywhere. Can you distinguish what I'm saying? If you lose the file itself from the phone, it deletes itself from the cloud and from your computer. So the files are different than the devices. If I lose the device, the files are safe if they're on the cloud. But if I lose the file, the only thing that saves you from losing that file is to have them copied somewhere else. And that's what Time Machine is. It's a backup copy of those files. So you can go back and get them again. Does that make sense? So this was like such a perfect segue into, usually this would be a conversation I'd be having Mac level 1, Mac level 2 first day. Since it was asked in the context of where are my files, which is Mac level 1, that's why these things kind of flow one into the other. I'm explaining this, and thus when I say who doesn't have a hard drive next week, go buy one, and I explain what to buy, I recommend you follow that instruction and that you do set up a time machine if you don't have one, because there you go. We will be able to save Denise's files, okay? And people make mistakes on the computer all the time because that's what happens. And that's why I kind of don't like the recents, because unless you really understand file management it's so confusing to think that you see it there and you see it there, so I'll just delete it from one place. As much as you think, oh, I have a photo on my phone, I have it on the computer, I'll just delete it from my phone to make space on my computer. It's a logical thought, especially because that's how it used to be. For 10 years or so, when you took a photo on your phone, you had to transfer it to your computer to make space on your phone. And those of you who've had that system going for so long, it's really hard to switch your mentality to go, oh, no, that's not how it works anymore. Now it lives everywhere. And if you delete it, you delete it from everywhere. And it's just a complete shift. And you need to just change your brain and go, no, I can't delete it at all. Because if I delete it here, it's gone from everywhere. And that's how things work when they're on the cloud. Okay? And this isn't even about the cloud. The recents isn't about the cloud. It's about your computer. Like if you delete it from the recents, you delete them from your documents and your desktop, no matter if they're on the cloud or if they're on your computer, if they're in for everywhere, because it is just a different way to show you the same stuff. All right, enough with recents. The second thing that I needed to show you was that app, but there was also a lot of you guys saying, yep, you need to know how to find the stuff in your documents a little bit more easily. That was the question I asked you at the very beginning of, at the very beginning, at the very end, right before the break. I said, do you want to know how to find the things in your documents more easily? Okay. So I'm going to review the 3 choices I gave you. For those of you who want to see the stuff on your computer more easily, first of all, on your desktop more easily, first of all, wait, let me share my screen. Sorry, without sharing my screen, I can't really do much. Okay, so here we go. I'm sharing my screen. I left only a couple things on the desktop, which are things that I use specifically during class, which is a couple of screenshots when I show people how to leave computer audio. For this class, I've been showing what the final files should look like, which we already got there. Now that's how my final files look. Okay, so now I don't need it for now until I teach Mac level 1 again, which means I won't need it until spring. So I might as well now put it away. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it under class files, right? So you should leave almost nothing, if anything, on the desktop. So then how about those things that I had on the desktop because I wanted to find them easily? Well, one solution, and this we talked about, what if I cook all the time and I want my recipes handy, was to right click, make alias. When the alias appears, you drag it out and put it right there. So now, without having to open the Finder window, you just go straight to the new recipes alias, and there they are. You're in your recipes. Now, this is something that we did at the beginning of class. If you want to do that and you don't know how to do that and you need help doing that, then raise your hand. If you got it, you know how to do that, you tried it and you're already doing it, or, oh, that's true, I know how to, I'll do that. Give me a yes, like I'm good with that. Raise your hand if you need help with it. Now, I don't 100% recommend this system, I want to say, because my screen is always full of stuff. Like I'm always working on my mails, on my Safari, on my Photoshop. Like my screen's always open, meaning my programs are open. So I don't really see my desktop easily. So I don't recommend it as a solution. That doesn't mean that it isn't a solution for you and that you want it. That's fine. You can want it because it is also more comfortable because it's what you've known all your life. Your stuff was on the desktop. So this helps you see your computer the way you used to see it, okay? So that's fine. As far as a preference, it's not my system of preference, but that doesn't mean that it isn't a good solution. Okay, so Sue, do you want a reminder of how to make an alias?
Yes, I think I missed, I was too young, too new to
Yeah.
understand
That's
when you
fine.
went through that.
Good, good, good. That's why I just want to make sure that we get that one clear, because that's the first one I taught. And as you said, it was at the beginning when people were kind of new to this conversation and it was still like, what are you talking about? So basically, you go to your documents folder where I told you to put everything, and hopefully you did. And then you go but I really, really, really want my knitting patterns handier than this. So how handy is this? Open that, go to documents.
Wait, what did you just open?
Hold on. I opened the Finder window. So let me just get rid of this for a second. So
Okay.
right now you asked, let me get rid of both my aliases. So now these are files that I will actually move away for a minute on the side. So if I open my computer and you've been accustomed, and by the way, Georgia, you don't have many files on your computer at all. So this isn't something that was an issue for you. Like, so I'll explain it again, but of all people, you have no files. You have like 5 files total on your computer. So I wouldn't try to do something that's a backwards way of trying to get something done the way the old-fashioned way was if you don't need to. So I'm not recommending that you start by doing something that's really a fix for people who did it before. You didn't do it. So maybe that's not the need, but I'm happy to explain it again because I'm sure someone else there wants to do it and doesn't remember how to do it. What I'm trying to say is, if you come from the world of PCs, or if you never knew how to store things, thus you had a lot of stuff hanging out on your desktop, I said, that's a bad idea. Put it in your documents folder. So now if your desktop is empty and you're like pining for when you used to see it here, and you want to see it here again, this is why you do that. You open a Finder window, and a Finder window always you open by going to the Finder icon, the smiley face. So when I say open a Finder window, it's because right now I don't see my files. It's like I need to open a door into my computer. How do I open it? By opening a Finder window. Boom. I click on that, a Finder window opened up. You're clear on that one? Georgia, you good on that?
Yes.
I open a Finder window. How? By clicking on this little half smiley face, Finder window. Now I am looking into my computer. And then I go, oh, that's true. My stuff is in my documents. So you click on documents. We're all good with that?
Yep.
Then you go, oh man, my knitting patterns. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to do this and that. That's literally it. You just want to be able to instead just see it right here. That's the only difference. This is the 2 things you need to do. You need to do that and that. And if that feels like, no, there has to be a faster way, the faster way would be having it right there. But I don't want you to have this file there. That's what I'm preventing. I don't want this file there because that makes the computer not work well. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a little button here that leads you to that. Just like these are little buttons that lead you to the real file, and these apps are buttons that lead you to the real app. What we're going to do is we're going to find a button that leads me to my recipes. So I'm going to select the recipes folder. Okay, everyone who wants to make an alias, now do this. Choose that folder that you desperately still want on your desktop, because I promised you I'd show you how to do that. Select that folder that you just made that holds the stuff you want on your desktop. Many of you guys had things that you didn't want to get rid of, and you said, no, 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 no. And I said, do it, do it, do it. If you did it, now select it, right click, and say, make alias. Make alias. So if you have them organized by name, the new recipes alias appears right underneath. If you have them all organized by size or date or kind, then it'll appear somewhere else because the name is next to each other. But somewhere you should see new recipes, or whichever folder you chose, alias. And over here under kind, the kind of it is kind alias. And over here, the date would be made just now. So whichever way you need to look for it. Now this one, we will drag and put on the desktop. So now I'm going to close my Finder window, and I have an alias. This is equivalent to the fact that if I go down here, I will open the Notes app, even though the Notes app really lives in the Applications folder. Or if I go to Safari, I will open Safari, although Safari really lives in the Application folder. This is a pointer to the new recipes. And so if I want to now not have to open the Finder window, I can just double click and there I am in my new recipes, which happen to be in my documents, right? So I'm still in the right place, but I go straight to it. So for things that you want to go straight to it, and I always give the example, if you're writing a novel and you have the files that you every day sit down to write for 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever, maybe you don't want to open the Finder window, go to the documents and find your writing and open your novel. Maybe you don't want to do those steps. So you can't put the file on the desktop. You can't make an alias of a file. Well, even that's not true. You could make an alias of the actual file, right? And put that actual file right here. That's an alias. You could do that. Or if you're working on a project, you can put an alias of the folder. So now, without opening anything, you just double click on this to open the folder to then, oh, today what I want to make is chocolate chip muffins, or today what I want to make is, you know, like chicken casserole. Or, you know, you actually want to work on this novel. So you just double click on this and you open your novel and you keep working. And so this isn't the file. It has a little arrow. It's the alias. It's a shortcut. The word alias is so confusing. It's the shortcut. It's like another way. I understand the word alias meaning another way to call the same person. It's another way to call up that file. Basically, just call it a shortcut. These things on a PC are called shortcuts. I like, of a few things I like better on a PC, one thing I like better is the name. This is a shortcut. Shortcut to that file. Okay? Now, if I delete this shortcut, all I'm deleting is the shortcut. I'm not deleting the file. It's not like the recents. This is really just a pointer. Move these to the trash. Nothing happened. If I go to my Finder window and I go to my documents, there's my new novel still there. There's my new recipes still there. Okay? So not a problem. I tend to have a screenshots alias always on my desktop. And now for real, this I do that. Because you guys saw every week I make like 10 to 15 to 20 screenshots from my classes. And my desktop gets littered up. And so then I'll grab the screenshot and I'll just drop it in there. Good news. Where did that one go? Oh, if I open this, that thing I just put away, it just went into my screenshots folder. So it works for me to store things, okay? So once again, if I want to store this, instead of having to open my Finder window, go to my documents, open my screenshots, and then drag this into my screenshots, instead, I just dropped it into the alias. So that is extremely comfortable for me. And that's what I do. I just go, okay, got that one, put it in there. Got that one, put it in there. Got that one, put it in there. Where are they going? They're going into that folder because this is an alias of that folder. Okay. So now I have cleaned up my desktop really quickly without having to drag it over here. Now I'm going to undo that because I do need those to stay on the desktop because they're files that I'm currently using for teaching. And the reason I need them for teaching is because when I share my screen, I have to be able to have them on the desktop to share. Not for any other reason. Otherwise, I wouldn't have them on the desktop. But when you share Zoom, it needs to see the thing on the desktop, and that's why I need them there. Now, if, and I see that there's a hand up, but if this worked for you, you were able to create an alias and you like that, no, I don't care if you like it. If you're able to create it and it worked, let me clear your answers. Hold on. I'm going to clear yours. So hold on. Your hand is up. If you were able to create an alias and then put it on the desktop, and then when you double click, it takes you to where you want to go, meaning it's working, give me a yes. Once again, I didn't, before like 7 years ago, that was the only way to quickly get your stuff. Now there's 2 other ways that I'm going to show you now. But that's the original way to get quickly to your documents. And if you still like that way, then go for it. Do that. All right, Sue, what was your question?
That was it.
Oh,
You
okay.
just answered it.
Just answered it. Perfect. Everyone else, you got it and you tried it, and I see lots of yeses, so good. All right. Now I want a yes based on, oh, I really like that. Like, I'm going to do that. I'm doing that for real. I like that solution. You're giving me back the desktop that I had before. Yay. I really like that. Give me a yes. Nope. Yeah, I like the idea, but I'm not going to use it. Give me a no. Just to get an idea of what's happening out there in the world. Just to know how much people like it or not. Looks like it's a very beloved feature. Look at that. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, most of you are saying, yeah, I like it. I'm going to do that. That's a good idea. And it makes sense because that's how you've been accustomed. Those of you who had a lot of stuff on your desktop, now you can have that stuff on your desktop again, right? So it's a good solution. Now there's a plan B and a plan C that I'm going to show you right now that are the ones I use. And you might think, nah, don't like it, or, ooh, that's really cool. I don't know what you're going to think. I'm going to show them to you, and it's up to you to decide if you want one or the other one. Whoa, you can tell I'm in a city. Something's happening out there. Okay. So let me show you what I do instead of aliases. I mean, I use the alias for this, but that's it for the cleaning up my desktop is the only, I do use that one for real. Oh, wait, I see a hand. Carol?
Yeah. So if you get rid of the alias by just deleting it, how do you move the real folders over or off your desktop? I'm not
No.
clear on that.
The real folder. This is an alias. If I get rid of
No,
it,
not an alias. If because I didn't do aliases before, but I would keep my other folders on there.
well, I've been speaking for the last 3 weeks about not having them there. If you have them there, you have them there.
I know.
Period.
I know.
If you don't, in order not to have them there, you need to just drag them into your documents folder. Literally, just grab them and put them in your documents folder, and
Okay.
then pull out an alias. So you can do it in your Finder window, which is kind of what I did to Carol. When I went to her desktop, she had a folder here, like here, let me put one. Here, let me grab the new recipes and actually put it on my desktop. Here it is. This is a real folder,
Okay, gotcha.
really on my desktop. And if I go over here to my desktop, yep, it's really there. Just grab it and put it on your documents folder.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Now, right click, make an alias, and then drag that alias out. So basically it's like you are, hold on, I have the zoom in the way. Drag that alias out and oh God, I don't, when this thing is in the way, nothing, you guys don't know what's in the way, but I have a thing that's in the way that drives me crazy. Okay, so now I will put that out here. And I am, other than the fact that it says the word alias and it has an arrow, it functions exactly the same as having the folder there, only it's better for your computer and your stuff is all in one place, which is better for organization, right? And that's it. That was as simple as take the real thing into the documents folder and then make an alias and put out the little alias. All right. So if anyone is still resisting and still have stuff in the documents, that's what you need to do. All right. And I'm not going to say it anymore. It's your choice now if you do it or not. It's like, now let's assume that you want another solution. And this solution here is the one I'm talking about. So let me share only the Finder window now. Now, well, let me actually explain why the Finder window for me, because I tend to have the internet open. I tend to have my mail open. So here's my mail. I tend to have maybe my notes open. I might have, whatever, Zoom open. I have a lot of stuff open. So as far as I'm concerned, my desktop is not a comfortable place to get to. Personally, because my stuff is always open and I don't see my desktop right now, do you? So I don't find the desktop to be a useful place for me to go to. It takes work to get to my desktop. I have to hide all my other stuff to get to my desktop to open my recipes folder. So I prefer to make my shortcut in 2 different places. One of them is here on the dock, and the other one is in the actual Finder window. So if I now need to open my new recipes folder, I don't want to just move everything out of the way to find my new recipes folder on the desktop, which is supposed to be easy and quick. I instead will open my Finder window just simply by clicking on this icon, which is always available. And then I will click over here where I'll have made a little shortcut right there for it. How? Let me show you. I'm going to go to my documents, I go to my new recipes, and I'm just going to pull it out and put it right there. So now, if I'm working, and it's time to make dinner, I can either hide all my work to go find that folder that's on my desktop that says new recipes, which is the shortcut for it, or I can open this up and click on new recipes, and there I am. I'm actually viewing it, and there are my recipes. So that's the kind of shortcut that I like best, because this jumps on top of everything. I don't have to deal with all the stuff that's open. Okay, all it took was click on my documents, and there is the quick access. Instead of having to go to my documents and then my new recipes, and there they are, which is 3 steps. So as you can see, I have all my class files for Photoshop, Digital Illustrators, and attendance, the things that I use daily for all my classes. I made this kind of shortcut on my Finder window. So for those of you who really liked this idea, let me tell you once again how I did that. And by the way, this is the folder new recipes that holds my stuff. If I don't need this here anymore and I just drag it out and get rid of it, all I got rid of is the favorite. It's a shortcut. I go back and there they are. Okay, maybe I don't want a folder that holds so many things. Maybe I just want the omelets folder in there. Just drag it out, and it has to be taken to this area that's favorites, not in the iCloud, not other places, to the favorites area. So you can put it anywhere within the favorites area. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to put it at the end of the favorites area, or at the top under applications, or inside under downloads, wherever. I'm going to drop it. Now I'm going to get my financial documents because it's tax time. So I'm going to say taxes 2024. While I'm working with my taxes, I'm going to put that folder in there. I work with my tax, April comes and goes, and I'm like, okay, I don't need that anymore, right? I'm done. Right click, remove from sidebar, or right click, or just drag it out. Either way, the taxes will still be there. The taxes, this is a shortcut. This is an alias. This is a way to get there. But this is not the real thing. So when I remove it from the sidebar, I remove it from a quick way to get to it. I'm going to remove the omelets. I'm removing from the sidebar the quick way to get to my omelets, but they're still there. My taxes are still there in my documents, and my omelets are still there in my documents. So I'm going to clear your feedback. If this system worked and you liked it and you were able to put a folder, forget the like it. I want you to be able to do it again, like before. I don't care if you like it or not. I want you to grab a folder, drag it over here, and don't put it in something. Careful. If I grab my health and I drop it inside of Summer Digital Design Techniques, I have moved my folder of health into my Digital Design Techniques folder. I'm going to Command Z and bring it out again. I want to wait until I see that line, that blue line that goes and scooches in between, and that's when I let go. Then now I have a quick access to my health folder. If you did that and it worked, and you have now quick access to something that was buried, give me a yes. All right, while you're giving me a yes or a no, give Carol.
Okay, so it works the same thing as an alias. I can put things into that shortcut?
Yeah. So say that I go into the art photos and there's something in here that should be in health, for example. Yeah, I can just drag it in there.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's in
Thank
health. Okay, it's an
Mhm.
alias. It works. You can't tell the difference.
But it has to be in documents for you to put to put it into the favorites. Is that so?
Yes and no. I mean, you could have had something in your desktop that you put in there, but I've taught you that having things on the desktop is not a good idea. But say that I did have my miscellaneous folder in my desktop. well, and I insist on leaving it there, then sure, I can make a quick access to it, and it takes me to my desktop. It always defaults to that. So no, it doesn't matter where it is. There's only two places it can be, desktop or documents. I recommend it always be in documents instead of desktop, but that's just recommendation. If you keep your stuff in the desktop, you can still do that and put it here.
But you were saying you don't want us to keep things,
Nope.
to store much on the desktop
I highly
because it
recommend not
slows down it screws up the computer.
Yeah, and then later when you're needing it because your computer now is new and fancy and full of shindigs, but in 3 years it starts to slow down, you wonder why. One of the reasons is because you have your desktop clogged with stuff. So move them now and continue to put stuff. I mean, it's just all it is a different place. It's two different rooms. The only benefit to desktop that people see is that it's visually accessible. Well, you tell me how visually accessible my desktop is right now. I don't see it. So I don't even believe that too much, but yeah, I get that if everything is closed, everything is closed, then you're right. I do see it. My miscellaneous is here and it's easier to access. But the moment I open something, that miscellaneous isn't accessible anymore. I need to just do one movement, which is click on the Finder window, and there's my desktop. There's my documents. They are as easily accessible in this view. There's no difference between doing that and that. So why bother having them there? The only way the desktop is easier is if you don't know about this Finder window, right? And you discover that it's in it, and you're comfortable closing all your files every time you need to get to something new, and then you find it on your desktop. Okay, if that's still the way you want it, be my guest. I recommend then to do it this way, right? Like put this one where it belongs, which is in the documents folder, and go to the documents folder, right click, make an alias, right? And then put that alias out here. There you go. Now you have it there, but you might also want to pull it and have it there. Oh, I already made it there. So now you have it in both places. You have the miscellaneous folder there, which takes you straight to the documents miscellaneous, and you have the miscellaneous folder there, which if you double click takes you straight to the miscellaneous. So basically do both. Be my guest and do both. I'm going to show you a third way, but first I want to clarify that when I said, did people do this? Like, not that you like it, but did you do this and did it work? Did you put items to organized in there and you saw it appear in your favorites, and then when you click on it, it goes straight there? If you did this and it worked, give me a yes. I'm not saying if you liked it, if it worked. Now, if you liked it, go for it, keep it there. If you didn't like it, then go back and right click and remove from the sidebar that version, because no, I'd prefer not to have that there. So remove and remove, right click and remove. Or if you didn't like the miscellaneous alias or the new recipes alias on your desktop, then right click and remove from there. Sorry, no, this one you have to move to trash. You can't remove, move it to the trash. And then it won't be there anymore, and just use only the Finder window, your choice. But there's another way. So now, if you wanted that, keep it. If you don't want it, don't keep it. I'm going to remove everything from here that I don't use now. I do use this. And as you can see, this is useful, very useful for me to have all that. And then these are all your attendance files that I handle every day. So to me, this one is useful because then I can have anything open anywhere in the background, in the foreground, in the middle, and I can just go, okay, time to do my attendance. Click on Finder window, go to attendance. Here we go. Let's open Mac level 1. Let's do the attendance for Mac level 1. So for me, I'd rather not have to go to my documents, to my real files do not remove, to my summer attendance rosters to find my Mac level 1 file. Does that make sense? So for me, this seems like a good shortcut. Boom, attendance, right? That is my solution. Okay, I'm going to clear your answers now, and I'm going to show you the last one that I haven't shown you yet. And by the way, class is almost over. So this is the ending of Mac level 1, and I want to remind you that if you're not in Mac level 2, you won't get an email from me for next week's class. It has a new link. It's not the same link as this class. So if you want to take Mac Level 2, you need to register for the class. And I think it's 80514 is the CRN. And last week I showed everyone who was registered the roster. So if you're still in doubt, send me an email. I'll check the roster. But other than that, you will get an email from me in the next couple of days saying, welcome to Mac Level 2. Here's the information for Mac Level 2, right? You'll get that. And then you'll have to, it's just Tuesday class, but you'll click on that link. Okay, not on the same one. All right, that was just a quick reminder. Now, the third place that is a little bit less convenient, but it's not necessarily bad. And now let me hide the fire because it's kind of crazy. And that I find really convenient is the following. I download things all the time. I have to download rosters. I have to download files, and I send them to my students, put another student up. So I'm using the downloads folder a lot. It's just me. Sometimes people like, I don't download anything. And some people are like constant downloads. Okay, if you're in any of my art design classes, I'm constantly having people download files from class and stuff like that. Okay. So how do I get to my downloads folder right now? Well, I would have to open the Finder window and click on downloads, right? We all know that. We've seen that. We've experienced that. Okay. Now that's it. Then my downloads are there. But there's a quicker access to my downloads. If you never removed it, when you bought your computer, it comes with your computer. And that's right next to the trash. If you look at the trash, right next to it, and there's a folder there, or there's some files there, that's your downloads folder. Alias, it's your downloads folder button. It's your downloads folder quick access. So if I click on this, and by default, it's showing in that way, but it could show in so many different ways. Maybe for you, it's showing up as a grid, and you click on this, and that's a grid of files. You right click, it could be a list. When you click on this, you see a list. I have the fan turned on because by default, that's the one that used to exist when this began. So what this means is that if I click on this, all of these are in my downloads folder. And over there at the top, it says 51 more in the Finder window. So if I click on this arrow, it opens. And what does it open? Lo and behold, it opened my downloads folder. Now I'm going to, I have to change the default so that it always opens as this. So this is my downloads folder. So, oh no, this isn't my downloads folder. This is my Photoshop class files. It's a file. It's okay. I already put so the downloads folder, sorry, and all my taking things and getting rid of things and adding things that I've done in the past. I got rid of my downloads folder. So give me a second, because now and then I have to replace things. So here we go. I apologize. I didn't have my downloads folder there. I had this one. So there's my downloads. See when I hover it, it says downloads. This one came with the computer. You might not have it there anymore. Oh, class. Oh, that was my arm. Okay, not over yet. So when I click on this, this is my downloads folder, right? And again, I can see them in order of a fan or in order of arrival or whenever. And I like having them in order by date added, just like folders are. So the last thing that got added will be always at the bottom. So say that I just downloaded something from the internet and I need it. I could go to the Finder window, go to the downloads and find it there. Or I can just go here, click there and find it right there. So it's a quick access to my downloads folder. Yeah. If it's not there and you want it, I can show you how to put it there. In fact, I just put it there. But let me just show it to you in action. I'm going to go to, I don't know, let me go SCL, SBCC registration form. Maybe that's apply and register. Click here for the admissions application. Non-credit, worksheet. I don't know, let me see if that's it. I open it up. Here it is. This is the form you guys fill when you don't register yourself online yourselves, when you send a form. So I'm going to download this. I'm going to click on this to download. There's so many ways to download. Click on that to download. All right, anyway, I'm going to download this sheet. See how this is jumping around? This thing jumped. I don't know if you saw it. It was too quick. I downloaded it from the internet. So I go over here to my downloads folder and there it is. Registration worksheet fillable number 2. I can just click on it and there it is. Now I can fill it out, say where I want to do, what I want to take, and I can send it. That's all it took. I could, of course, have gone to Finder window, downloads, and there it is. Same thing, registration worksheet. I found it in my downloads, but this is a quick access to my downloads. Does that make sense? And the last thing that I downloaded is the nearest to my finger. If you can do it for downloads, can you do it for something else? Yep. What if I go to my documents folder and I want my new recipes? Okay, I can grab my new recipes and I can drag it here just like I dragged it before, and I can just put it in there. Good. So when I click on that, I can go and say, what should I make today? Oh, it's breakfast. Let me open breakfast. Okay, 4 cheese pancakes. And I open my 4 cheese pancakes and here we are. Or no, sorry, 4 cheese omelets, right? So this is another place where I can drop something that I want to open quickly. Okay. And if I don't want it anymore, because I'm not making recipes anymore, I just take it away, remove. And guess what? My recipes are still there. Okay. So maybe I'll bring only my omelets down here because I just want my omelets. I put it in there. And then I open it up and there's my omelets and I open it up from there. So this is equivalent to that, only if you don't like it to be on your Finder window and you don't want it to be on your desktop, then you have it down here. Where? Next to the trash before the first black line of my dock. Okay? In this area. So now, everyone, give that one a try. We're going to grab, again, something from your documents folder. Again, this is just a pointer. So the place where the things are real is in here. Let's make it a bit smaller so there's less drag distance. And let's say that here I want my new novel. I'm going to drag my new novel. Oops, I double clicked and it opened. Hold on, I didn't do that. I want to drag it here and I just put my new novel in there. That, or I'm going to put my miscellaneous folder in there. I can put my miscellaneous folder in there. Grab my new miscellaneous folder and I'm going to put it right there once it opens up. There you go. So now basically, remember how I had made a right click, make alias, and I had dragged my new novel here. Now, if I don't open my Finder window, I can do this, which is not my favorite choice, but it's possible. Or I can just go here and go, oh, let me open my new novel. Or let me open my miscellaneous folder. Here it is. These are the files in my miscellaneous folder. Here's my downloads. Here's my Photoshop class files. And here's my new novel. Let me click on that. Okay, I want to open it. And boom, it opened up. Okay. So this is all a different place where I can put shortcuts. It's equivalent to putting stuff in here, but you never need to open the Finder window. You just have them here. And when you're done, because say you're done with your taxes for the year, you just drag it out, remove, or you can also right click and options and remove from dock. And you get rid of it from the dock, but it has not disappeared from the right place. Okay, so now that's the explanation.
So you're
Try
moving
that.
those to the right.
Hold on, Barbara. I
Okay.
need to get, if you did it and it worked and you like it, give me a yes. If you don't know how to do it and you need a hand, give me a no. Granted, we only have 1 more minute, but give me yeses and nos. And basically you just drag it like I taught you to put the applications and drag the one that you wanted over here, remember? And that was something that we did at the beginning. Whoops. Let me, I grabbed something here and I showed you how to put it in the dock. From this line to this side, you can only do it with applications, but from this line to this line, you can put folders and files. So you can go to the documents folder and grab a file. As I said, taxes, you're doing taxes. I'm gonna go to financial information, grab my 2024 taxes, and I'm working on expenses or whatever. So I'm gonna grab the taxes and I'll drag it in there. Work on it for a month or two or however long it takes for me to do my taxes. And when I'm done, I just move it out. It's just another shortcut way. All right. You don't need to know 3 ways. You need to know none and go to the Finder window and find them. You need to know 1 and choose the one you prefer, or you need to know all 3 and now and then use one or the other or the third. It's just 3 ways of quickly getting to the stuff that's in your documents folder. All right, so I'm seeing some yeses, some nos, and then someone was asking me a question and I spoke over you. I think it was Barbara.
I need to
And
leave.
I
Have
watched
a
the
good
video.
weekend.
Yeah. By the way, guys, it's not only the end of the day, but it's also the end of the whole Mac Level 1 class. So if you're not coming to Mac Level 2, have a good rest of your summer. Join me in September for the classes that you missed. And if you want to stay to hear Barbara's questions, stay for a little bit longer. Otherwise, I'll see you on Tuesday for those of you who are coming to Mac Level 2.
Have a good weekend. Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good trip to Seattle, Georgia. All right, so Barbara, what was your question?
You know what? I'll watch the video. I can go out, slide all the way out. There's a couple of things I want to make sure I hear again.
Okay,
So I'll
got it.
just watch. Thank you though.
You're welcome. Sue, what's your,
Am I muted? No, I'm on. I tried that, the third kind, and when I dragged it over to put it on the dock down by the trash, it didn't go in the trash, but it didn't go on my dock either, and it
Okay,
went
so-
away from my documents.
here's the thing. I think you missed intro to the Mac, right? You just joined us for Mac Level 1. I
Yes.
think. Okay, because in Mac Level 1, I showed people how to put things in the dock for applications. And so I said, it's just like that, but I forgot that some of you didn't take that class. So it takes a little bit of doing. You grab, say I want the weather app on my dock, try it with apps first. Go to your applications folder and choose an app that's not on your dock and then grab it. And you need to drag it and not put it on top of something, but right in between. So watch, if I grab my weather app and I try to drag it to my dock, if I try to put it on top of something, it's not going to work. I need to move my mouse until they make space. I know.
Oh, until it makes a space.
So they are going to be like polite and go, oh, she's coming in. If I touch the middle, like see the tip of my mouse, you have the tip of your mouse, you need to touch right on the edge and then they'll make space for you. So that is the same effect. If I go to my documents and I want to put my personal folder in there, I need to drag it over, right? So I need to grab it. And when my tip of my mouse, it's the tip of my mouse that matters, touches this empty space, they're going to move over and make space. So I'm going to do like that, and then I'm going to wait until they make space. Okay, there. They make space. It's like a little hesitation, and then you move your mouse, and then they go, oh, she's trying to get in here. Oh, there's some space. And then you let it go.
Okay.
And then you have it there. But they need to kind of go, oh, someone's trying to butt in here. All right, let me move over. And then you can drop it in. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Michelle and
Thank you.
Denise, hopefully it's a quickie. Yep, Michelle.
It's just related to that issue I have with the pipeline not getting the.
I
Did you
spent my
get that?
break. I spent my break answering that, so go check the email.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
What's the class that you were in? Hold on, were you in? Is it Photoshop? Which class is it? This one?
I'm in your yeah, I'm in this one that starts the Mac 2 one that starts Tuesday.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna make a point of putting it individually, but go read what I said, because I don't want them to just do it. I want them to fix it, right?
Yeah. They sure are resistant.
Okay. Yes, Denise?
Mine is quick. I have it on the
Right, thank
dock
you.
next to the trash, but now I cannot get rid of it.
What's that? You put something.
I have the file on the trash next to the trash.
Okay.
I dragged it, but
Get
now
rid of
I
it.
want to.
Okay. So either drag it out like until it says remove, so like 2 inches up, that's one way, or right click, options, remove from dock.
Okay. Uh, yeah, okay, I do the right click. I don't have the option remove from dock.
Well, you can only do that to things that you've added. You can't remove your trash from the dock. Is that what you're trying to remove?
No, I'm trying to remove that file I had put on the dock on that section that you were talking about.
Just drag it out. Just grab it and drag it up, and you'll see at some point the word remove appears when you're like 2 inches above, and then let go.
Yeah, it's okay. I
And
will.
share your screen. I can help you with that.
Okay. Share and click.
Full movement thing. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so go to your dock.
Yeah. Here. Okay. Oh, I got to move this one. Okay. So here it is.
Okay, drag it. Keep going 2 inches up. Keep going up. You have to go up like 2 inches. There, remove, let go. Zoom. Okay. You just
Okay,
go
okay.
far enough that you see the word remove.
Okay, I will add this option anyway. Okay, but thank you.
I use all three. The
Yeah.
only thing I use the desktop one is for when I want to have something I deposit quickly.
Yeah.
But I use the other two.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter. You guys get to choose now that you know all three. All right. See you guys
Okay.
on
Thank
Tuesday.
you. See you later.
I'll see you on Tuesday. Okay. Have a great weekend.